Vooka breakfast show. It's yet another Monday, and guess what? It's the first Monday of March. Why am I lying? You are. Well, it's actually the second Monday of March, and I hope you guys are feeling very fantastic today. And you know what's amazing about March is that we also celebrate Human Rights Day.
Yes.
Human Rights Day. What are human rights? We're gonna learn so much more about the different rights we have throughout the month, and I hope you guys are also ready for that. But obviously, you're still here with me, your host, Afri Berry, also known as Miss Berry Blaze. But to the darker the berry, the sweeter than dun dun. And I do not travel alone. I'm also here with my amazing, beautiful co-host.
Good morning, Mzansi. It is a wonderful Monday. We are happy and up and bright with you today on the hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show. My name is Tisiga Mazibugo Shabalala. I am your prime cut creative and your positivity dose of the day. We are not traveling alone as your beautiful ladies hosting you today on the show. We also have our co-host Umweketi Maimani. How are you, Umweketi? Are you okay?
A very good morning, ladies. I am okay, by the way. It's a beautiful morning right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show, and I just can't wait to see what's lined up for us, because you know that we bring you more entertaining, breakfast show right here. By the way, I am good, ladies, and how are you doing this morning?
I am very excited because me and you decided to cut our hair, right?
Definitely, man.
Yeah, I am loving the haircuts, guys. I am loving the bald heads.
We decided to be very brave and very bold on this Monday morning.
Yes,
but
taking
otherwise,
the bulls by the horns.
But otherwise, yes, I'm doing okay.
I'm amazing, Mo. I mean, of course, I'm going to be great. I'm going to be energetic. Because why? We are on Vooka Breakfast Show.
Yeah.
Your energetic dose of the morning.
Yeah, definitely, man. Let's dive into what we call the picture of the day, because if you're watching right there at home, you can see I have a picture behind me right now. And to those of you who don't know the picture, let me just take you through. So behind me, we have the Table Mountain, which is located in the mother city, right? Cape Town, known as Cape Town. So I have some interesting fact about Table Mountain. If you didn't know any background information or back history with the Table Mountain. So they say here, Table Mountain National Park stretches around the city of Cape Town, South Africa. The national park is incredible, 25,000 hectares in size, and continues most of the way to the southwest tip of Africa. So right now, I'm just going to ask the famous question to the ladies right there. Have you guys been to the Table Mountain?
In my dreams.
I have not, but my mom has gone, so she.
Yeah, so like, how was the experience when she tells you?
She was amazed. Hey, she says it is beautiful views. The air up there is quite cold. Yeah, but Other than that, the experience, of course, was breathtaking.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
Have you been there?
I've never been, and it's my wish, man. I always bring a picture of the days because some of the places I've never been to. So I just want to, start here, where I see it in my background and share it with people right there. And if you're watching right now at home, you have been to the Table Mountain, tell me about the experience by using the hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show on our comment section. So right now, what I'm gonna do is to give it to you, ladies, and just tell us what is lined up for us in the show today.
Okay, so today on a very beautiful sunny Monday, we have a motivational speaker who will be coming through the studio to give us a bit of a motivational talk and get our spirits actually high from all the lowness that we actually have.
Right.
And then after that, we're also going to have a mover and shaker doing it for the community and making sure that his community is also well funded and well acknowledged. And finally, we'll also be having a guest for the business segment. I hope you guys will stay tuned and be sure to be connected with us. Don't forget to also make sure that you make that hashtag trend. Hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show. Do not also forget to follow us on all social media platforms. That is Vooka Breakfast Show, whether it's IG, TikTok, Facebook. We have you.
Yes, it's going to be a jam-packed show for you. And of course, don't forget your favorites, the word of the day, today in history, your news, your weather, and of course your traffic, which is going to come up shortly. So stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe and engage with us on all our social media platforms so that we can connect and stay connected.
Thank you very much. So right now we're going to head over to the weather. After the weather, we'll have Moketsi Maimane with the news and sports headlines.
My name is Moketsi Maimane once again, and if you've missed your headlines, these are your first morning headlines. KZN flood victims demand permanent homes. Flood victims in Durban's southern areas are demanding to be relocated to government-subsidized housing. Scores of people are being temporarily accommodated in a hotel while government scrambles to secure temporary residential units. Communities affected by recent floods have been declared disaster areas. COGTA Minister Velinkosi Hlabisa will announce further funding for damaged infrastructure in flood-hit areas later this month. On the second headline, liquor laws, Eastern Cape business owners unhappy with the crackdown. The Eastern Cape Liquor Board is shaking up its regulations. New laws are forcing traders to be compliant and be responsible in selling alcohol. But tavern owners accuse the board unfairly targeting them and are worried the changes will kill their businesses. The new regulations are in effect on the 1st of March, and those who choose to ignore them risk legal action. On the last headline, Minister under fire. Mkhunu denies suggestion of Phala cover-up. Police Minister Senzo Mkhunu has a lot to deal with now. He's fending off accusations that he deliberately concealed the Phala report and a challenge over the number of farmer matters. What does the minister make all of this? That's all for the news headlines. Now heading on to the sports headlines. LeBron James injured as Curry passes 25,000 points. LeBron James left the game in fourth quarter after contesting a layup but expressed little concern about the injury. He scores 22 points, 14 rebounds and 9 assists, surpassing 50,000 career points earlier this week. Jason Tatum led the Celtics to a win over the Lakers with 40 points. Stephen Curry crossed 25,000 career NBA points during the Warriors' 115-110 win over Pistons, finishing with 32 points. Now heading to the football news. On Nedbank Cup, a controversial late goal gives Kaizer Chiefs victory over Stellenbosch. Amakosi defeated Stellenbosch 3-1 in a dramatic Nedbank Cup match, with the game tied 1-1 in ended. Pule Modi scored from a controversial corner despite protest from Stellenbosch. Mfundo Vilakazi sealed the win with a late breakaway goal. Earlier, Chiefs led through an Inicio Miguel penalty, while Andre de Jong equalized for Stellenbosch. The victory moves Chiefs to semi-finals, ending their near-decade-long trophy drought pursuit. On the rugby news, the Universal Rugby champion Siyakolisi Stars to help Sharks narrowly beat the Lions. The Sharks secured a narrow 25-22 win over the Lions, maintaining their top 4 spot in the URC standings. Siyakolisi starred with 2 tries, while Grant Williams also scored early. Despite Lions' comeback with tries from Richard Creel and Franco Marais plus a penalty by Gianni Lombard, Nick Hatton leveled the score for the Sharks. A late penalty by Jaden Hendricks sealed the victory. The Sharks topped the SA Shield, edging the Stormers and Derby wins. On the other football news, late Pedro penalty secures a 2-1 victory for Brighton over Fulham. Brighton secured their 4th consecutive league win, defeating Fulham 2-1 and rising to the 6th in the standings with 46 points, 1 behind 4th place Manchester City. Fulham struck first through Raul. That's all for now. Stay tuned for more news and sports update and analysis throughout the show. Do not forget to share your thoughts on these matches with us on social media using the hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show. My name is Moiketi Maimane, and this was your news headline and sports headline. Now what you're going to do is to head over to your traffic with the TC Wawamazibugo.
Breakfast Show, and I am TC Gamazibugu Shabalala. This is your first traffic update of the day. There has been an incident in Midrand on the N1 southbound at off-ramp to Olifantsfontein Road. Emergency lane has been closed. There's a stationary vehicle in Greenstone Hill on N3 southbound Eastern Bypass at the off-ramp to Modderfontein Road, the R25. Emergency lane is closed. There is congestion on the N1 northbound just before the Diepkloof interchange. This congestion is affecting the on-ramp to the N12 Southern Bypass. There's been a crash on the N1 southbound just off of the Brankfontein interchange. This incident is affecting the ramp from the the Dani Joubert freeway N1 south, resulting in one of the 6 lanes being closed. There's also a stationary vehicle in Midrand on the N1 southbound just after the New Road ramp from the New Road. This incident has resulted in the shoulder of the lane being closed. That is all for now from your traffic update. Stay tuned for more.
Hey family.
Hi.
My name is Tisiga Mazibugo Shabalala.
My name is Moketi Maimane.
My name is Musi Miss.
My name is Ketua Ketumguni.
On the Vooka
Vooka Breakfast Show.
Every weekdays from 7 a.m.
to 10 a.m.
This is where we are going to have our topical discussion featuring various aspects from different fields.
We're going to take care of you and it's going to be amazing, man. Right now I'm on the set of the Vooka Breakfast Show brought to you by the Blink-On Network.
Do not forget to subscribe.
That's Vooka Breakfast Show on Facebook and all other social media platforms.
Vooka.
See you there.
At 20 minutes past 7, it is the time, and you're watching the Vooka Breakfast Show. Once again, good morning, Mzansi. You're watching the one and only energetic breakfast show right here in Mzansi, located in the heart of Johannesburg, is Soweto, Dobsonville. I hope you guys nivugile. And you know, by the way, the hashtag to use throughout the show is a hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show, and you can also use a hashtag Sivugile. Let's get this week started, because Mondays are always about Monday motivation. We need the motivation to keep on going until the end of the week. We're back again with another one, and also we've got something special for you, some special guests lined up for you so that you can get and use the information that we're going to provide you with. My name is Moketi Maimane, aka Max for maximum temperature, the son of Mother Nature. I'm not alone right here in the studio. I'm with two beautiful ladies. Good morning, ladies, and how are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Mo. I'm doing okay. I'm doing fantastic. Got a new haircut, so I feel fresh. What about you?
Of course, man. New fresh cut, new week, new beginnings, new blessings, new month. Everything is new, man. We are flowering. We are blooming.
You are flourishing.
Flourishing. Definitely, man. Flourishing is the word to use and describe how I am feeling today. TC, how are you this morning?
I am blooming where I'm planted.
Really?
This week. We are intentional. We are aligned. I am ready to get it. It's a new week presenting new opportunities with a new growth mindset. So let's get it, Mzansi. It's the hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show, your energetic dose of the day.
I love the Monday energy, man. The Monday energy always bring you to the table. And it always describe how you're going to have your week. If you woke up on the right side as skisi. But what you're gonna do is to keep you, aligned with yourself, with our dose of positivity each and every day right here. So let's get this going, ladies. How was your week, man? What did you do? What were you up to? How was your date?
Everybody, you had a date this past weekend.
Yeah.
I'm also wondering which date.
Wow, you said you're going to a date,
Mo, you are remembering things that didn't take place.
Wena, how was your day? How was your night? Your day out with the boys? How was the rendezvous with the boys?
Unfortunately,
Weekends are
it
for
didn't
the
happen.
boys.
Unfortunately, it didn't happen, man. Because the boys have, their things going on, man. We're growing up,
Adulting.
and it's so painful how we see, growth divide us, man. People start having responsibilities. They're hanging around, man. It only happens once, after 5 months, and so because we hanged out, man, in the beginning of this month, and it was nice. It's something that we should keep on doing on a monthly and weekly basis. But all in all, it was a beautiful weekend. I got to watch some soccer,
Yes,
man.
I knew that. And I mean, some of my predictions, I was busy like on my way here, I'm hearing like, oh man, Kaizer Chiefs actually won.
Exactly.
But I did say it was a 50-50 chance. I did say it was
When
a
you never
50-50 chance.
Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah, I just heard with my uncle's friends in the street. Yeah! Like, okay.
Amakosa Chabuli.
Exactly, man. Amakosa Chabuli. Peace sign in the air, man. Peace sign in the air. But I had a very beautiful weekend. I just want to hear from you right there at home. How was your weekend, man? Did you experience anything? Good news, bad news? Please share them with us because we are here, to give you the moral of support. We are your brothers and sisters right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show. Remember, we are Vooka Breakfast Show on each and every social media platform. that is what to search when you want us on every social media platform. We have TikTok, we have Facebook, we have YouTube, right, and Instagram. So do make sure that you get yourself, press those follow button, those comment section, the links, and share it with everybody that you know, because Soweto is right here. We are brewing here with so much hunger to bring you the best entertainment breakfast show you have ever seen. 25 minutes past 7. It is the time right here. So what I'm going to do, guys, is, discuss something that is of urgent, right? We know that president, described the U.S. aid fund for HIV as misalignment, with the country's goals, right? So it was a joke at first. People were laughing like, hey, Trump, you can't bully us. But now, the healthcare, they found themselves, the medical services, they found themselves into begging government, to intervene urgently, because now we have seen that a lot of people have lost their jobs. 1,000 jobs have lost because the funding has been cut. Okay. And now, since the funding has been cut, it's a huge problem to those who were, attending your therapy sessions like your ART, the antiretroviral therapy. It's no longer going to be there. Even the campaigns that we saw, man, Momakasana,
yes,
where they would do your HIV tests, people go in to check their statuses.
Yeah, where they'd set up these tents.
Yes.
And
So I guess
that
also means that ANOVA is also no longer available, because ANOVA used to do HIV testing, and they also gave out education based around PrEP and how to prevent yourself from getting HIV and AIDS by drinking PrEP.
Yeah, so those programs, guys, they've been cut down, and it's a huge risk, for people who were going to clinics to check their HIV statuses, to go for their treatment, because we know that China is our biggest supplier, for medical suppliers like your ARVs, right? So since the aid has been cut down now, the government needs to intervene, because US actually gave South Africa almost 147 billion for this funding, right? Wow. So it's a huge, huge, huge thing. Supporting vulnerable groups like sex workers, orphans, and LGBTI communities. It's some of the things that have gone under the radar. In such a period of time, midnight, president announced funding is gone, people losing their jobs, and now a lot of lives are at risk. Do you know anyone who has HIV and you know that they're living off the ARVs?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the society that we live in today, if you're not directly affected, you're you know someone who knows someone, or in your community there are people. So either way, it's around you. The situation does affect you in some or other way. There's no way that we can escape the reality of the effects that this is going to cause. Yeah. So that there needs to be some sort of intervention, but then it also lets us know and see how we've become a welfare state. How can we help ourselves not land in situations like this where we are being controlled based on our need of outside intervention on domestic issues that we have to tackle ourselves and find ways to permanently deal with root causes for? Yeah. So it's a matter of, again, how South Africa going to become an independent sovereign state where we are not relying on other people's intervention constantly, where we are a welfare state, constantly needing assistance, constantly needing help. Yeah. But we have our own resources. We have certain things that we can use at our disposal to grow ourselves and plant ourselves in a way where we are no longer in need of outside intervention and depending so much on outside help that when it's taken away, we are helpless. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
mean, for example, we've had so many research activity and research work being done based around HIV and AIDS. And it's very sad that our country, instead of sponsoring such programs from our own pockets, we still relied on outside help. I mean, what's the point of being a very diverse country or a country that is known for riches and wealth in Africa, yet we fail to sustain ourselves?
yeah.
What is the point of doing of literally exporting the mineral resources that we have in a country when the money that comes back from buying those mineral resources fails to maintain the country? Because one thing that I also heard, forgive me, but I'm not sure if it's true or false. It's basically based on hearsay. But please correct me, guys, if you also had the same thing. So apparently, the finance minister, ahead of a speech, also put out a notice saying that people need to choose on whether they're going to take 17% the VAT, or they're going to lose the 350 grant. So in a way, there's no way that people could choose either or. The grant right now is going to help those people who literally lost their jobs.
Yep.
And then number two, when you choose the VAT increase, it's still going to affect even that little money that you're getting from the grant. And then the sad part is that you're talking about a grant more where people don't even get their money. But 100 ba kwadise gore ba gola grant. Out of 100, ubala 50% population e le gore ya thola. And within that 50% population, only 20% actually really and truly get their money. And in the other 30%, the money is gone to God knows where. There's so many things that we need to fix within our country that we shouldn't even be having money problems. We have so many talented people that are in our country that could be helping uplift the economy so that we don't have to look for help from other countries. But yet, our government, slap tiger.
We are losing those talented people because
Yes.
now funding has been cut. Because I know that the question that should be asked right now is how is South Africa responding to this situation of the fund, the US aid fund being cut? So obviously, so far, the South African government has not provided clear answers on how they're going to fill in the funding gap. It's something that the SA government needs to step forward and say, guys, this is the plan. We have a plan for this. But obviously, as much as I asked the question, how is South Africa responding? So public health experts and activists are urging the government to step in with emergency funding. Without immediate actions, lives will be lost. We know that ARVs have been supported, have been provided, and also, the aid from local provinces was being supported by that funding. So what does it mean when we say lives will be lost? Because they have done a research, the public health experts, they have done a research. If this is not solved by this time, a lot of lives will be lost. So it absorbs affected workers into public health sector. South Africa's healthcare system is already struggling, and losing thousands of skilled workers will only make things worse. And talking about the skilled workers, we had the doctors, who came in from Lesotho to help in with the HIV programs, to help patients to take their medication and, take them through programs, with living with HIV. But now those doctors have went back home, and it's starting to get worse and worse each and every day.
But Mo, do you think with all the education and programs that have been formed ever since HIV became a pandemic, do you perhaps think that by now we should perhaps have some progress when it comes to the reduction in the number of cases there are of HIV, and that this in a way should no longer be ongoing pandemic, but a regressing one where less and less numbers are being seen in society when we are teaching, safe sex and, how to combat and giving education on the medication that is out there in order to prevent yourself getting sick. So do you think we can right now say that there is enough information and education out there to lower the numbers of these cases and perhaps lower the number of people that need assistance in this regard.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that yes, information is there, but now the government has taken a lot of time, to apply what we call practical skills, because we have doctors in this country who complain with getting jobs. Imagine doctors who need to be part of the healthcare, system, and curbing these growing HIV numbers. The information has been there for a long time, but now what we see is that the government last year, they responded with the NHI bill because they saw that, okay, we see that there's a lot of division and inequality when it comes to our public healthcare sector and the private healthcare sector. There's a huge gap that needs to be filled, because when you're in private sector, you get, quality healthcare services compared when you are in the public sector. So that also spoke to how they actually narrowed the gap. So the NHI said, okay, we're going to have this universal healthcare for everyone. So that's them trying to apply the information that's already there. But now they're not saying it starts now. It's going to start in the next 30 years. But now this happens. The aid has been cut. It's something that people didn't see coming. They always thought, no, US is going to, give us the funding and lives will be saved. But now what do we do? Because they're in panic mode right now. Public health experts have came in and say, government, you need to act urgently, because if this is not solved, in the next 10 years, 500,000 people, it is estimated that 500,000 people will lose their lives. So it's bad.
Yeah, it affects people's lives either way, because right now the number of people who are living on ARVs is quite huge.
Yeah,
and
it is.
So for them to suddenly stop receiving treatment would be a catastrophe.
True. So right now, the question, still stands. How do you think South Africa should respond to the loss of US aid funding? Because we know that now the pressure is on South African government to step up and protect the country's most vulnerable citizens. Hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show is the hashtag to use when you comment down below and let us know, man. What do you think of the US aid fund? Do you think we have been too much, we've been leaning too much
on it?
Yeah, yes. On it, being dependent on it to a point that we never did so much research on our own and say, you know what, thank you, US, we're going to take it from now on. But now it has happened abruptly, overnight, when Trump actually decided, this is what is going to happen. So tell us what you think, man. What should the government do right now? Right. So what I'm going to do right now is to move on, because we've got some guests lined up for you for the business blog, for Monday motivation, and movers and shakers. So what we're going to do right now is just to take a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to look what we have today in history and our word of the day. So let me get you prepped for today's morning weather forecast. Yeah, definitely. That was your weather forecast. I hope you guys are getting ready. And, you just dress according to what the weather is saying because we have been experiencing rainy days, especially yesterday. So do make sure that you get hold and stay updated with the latest weather forecast. My name is Moketi Maimane, a.k.a. Max for maximum temperature, the son of Mother Nature. 20 minutes until we hit 8 o'clock, and you're still watching the one and only entertaining breakfast show in Soweto, which is the Vooka Breakfast Show. Let's give you those vibes, your energetic start of the day. Remember, the hashtag to use is hashtag Sivugile and hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show. Ladies, are you still with me? Are you still good?
See right, see bright, and on time. Yeah, boo. We
Yeah,
are
definitely,
awake.
man. Definitely. Guti, when we wake up with beautiful breakfast. By the way, did you guys have breakfast today?
Not yet. I think Minanje, you can't just nje get up and eat.
Yeah.
You first have to allow your body and your organs to wake up by drinking a glass of water, and then maybe around Boma 8, 9,
I had
10,
that.
you can eat.
One of the methods to clean your stomach is to drink water in the morning on an early
Yes.
empty stomach.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
Jesus, that thing makes my organs tremble, man. Especially my
But it's
intestines.
good. It's
man.
waking up your organs. It's waking up your body.
With today's water, yes, man, we're drinking dirty water here, man.
Yeah,
So
what?
I don't know which water is clean. Maybe Woolworth's water. Yes, it's good for cleaning your stomach in the morning.
Why
right?
Woolies water though? What's
Why
so
are you
special
promoting
about
Woolies?
Woolies?
I mean, it has the special H2O.
Wara.
Guys, government juice.
It's the same as somebody drinking
Aye.
purified water. Let's be honest. What's the difference between purified water, bottled water, and water that you find in the tap?
I mean, guys, remember when this water is
Logically,
being
that's
processed.
scientifically.
Yeah.
When the water is being processed, different chemicals are being used, especially imported, chemicals. By the way, So obviously at Woolworth,
Aye.
they would process
Yeah.
the water and put it there. Where now when you open, you don't know where it comes from. Whether the pipes are rusted down there, the pressure, come on, man, come on. Those are some of the things that you need to take into consideration when you drink water from the taps. You understand?
Hence I'm asking her, what's the difference between purified water, bottled
There is
water?
a difference.
Because you find a person like, I only drink purified water. I'm like, what the hell?
Yes.
What the?
Yes, man. Water is not just water, guys. There's a lot we can do in terms of finding what is purified. Because right here, purified water is, it has been filtered or processed to remove impurities. Government one, I don't think
You don't
the
trust them.
impurities.
You don't trust
Because one
their
thing-
purification process.
Yeah, because in India, so it has been said that in India, when you drink tap water, you must pour it day before, then leave it overnight. So that whatever
You're
that's
not
in the water
living
can
in India,
go
you're in
down.
South Africa,
Yeah, but
Mo.
I'm just saying, Hore, just be careful of what other countries are doing on that tap water.
I know. I mean, there's countries where you cannot drink the tap water just straight from the tap. You have to have some sort of filtration system because the tap water is that filthy. But then, I mean, we have a fairly good system when it comes to filtration. Fairly good. I said fairly good.
No, man, that water is nasty. I once went to Billa Billa, and I don't know if it literally tasted like bankile metsi ba tshela letswai ba dash instead of ba clean and ba tlwela ba re letsatsi le tla dissolve letswai and then a bone.
Don't worry, in September there's going to be water testing week. We can take part in testing the water bodies around and the water that comes from our systems and see how pure our water is. I've got a water testing kit at home, so yeah.
So out of curiosity, do you use it when you pour the water at home?
No, it was meant to, when I took part in the water testing week, we tested, the different water and how pure it is and what kind of chemicals you have in the water.
Yeah, we know that in South Africa, man, we have a very troublesome water system.
there are some metropolitans right now who are struggling to get water. So the reason we just brought that up is because other people do not have water, you know. So it speaks to, you know, how our water and sanitation department is really failing the rights of the people. But anyway, before we went to the break and gave you your weather forecast, I promised you that we're going to be taking you through your today in history and word of the day that we have. Before I do that, let me just head over to my socials and, you know, engage with my people. As I see some people are starting to come in, do make sure that you come in, share the live, and let people know that your entertaining breakfast show is now live and bringing you lined up content that is full of energy. So I have Afro Wave Sounds at morning, hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show team, hashtag Sivugile this Monday. Looking forward to seeing the guests and learning new things on the show. Yes, do make sure that you stay with us because we have on the business blog Mr. Emmanuel Kani, right?
Yes.
And then we're going to have on the movers and shakers, Sandani Rachi Lumeani. Yeah, Sandani Rachi Lumela. And then Monday motivation is Osvaldo Naka. I hope I'm pronouncing that okay. So
Don't
you should.
worry, he's almost here, so we'll find the correction when he
Yeah.
gets here.
Osvaldo is on his way, so do make sure that you stay with us as he is going to share more with us just to get this morning going. We are preparing for a very exciting week. So, what do we have today in history? It is something of interest, something that is very, very, very interesting. So, the first one is in 1994, 10 March, South Africa's first democratic election ended apartheid and established a non-racial democracy. Nelson Mandela was sworn in as the country's first democratically elected leader. In 1994, South Africa's first democratic election ended apartheid and established a non-racial democracy. Nelson Mandela was sworn in as the country's first democratically elected leader. Something interesting that you need to look up right there on your history. So tell me if you have known anything about this so that we can give you more information. So on the next one, on a history event, 250 CE, the Bantu people began migrating to South Africa from the north. In 250 CE, the Bantu people began migrating to South Africa from the north. In the Bantu migration, Bantu people spread from their homeland in Cameroon and Nigeria throughout much of sub-Saharan Africa over the 2,000 years from 1,500 BCE to 500 CE. As they migrated south and east, they spread their agricultural practices, their language, their culture, and their iron working skills. Today we're experiencing diversity because of the Bantu migration. So let me repeat that for you so that you can get it again. In 250 CE, the Bantu people began migrating to South Africa from the north. In the Bantu migration, Bantu people spread from their homeland in Cameroon and Nigeria throughout much of sub-Saharan Africa over the 2,000 years from 1,500 BCE to 500 CE. As they migrated to south and east, they spread their agricultural practices, their language, their culture, and their iron working skill. As I emphasized that we are diverse today because of these events that took place. Do you know any event that took place today that served a significant memory that can be known as your historical event? Interesting things that we have right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show. So what I'm going to do right now is to move to our word of the day.
But wait,
Wait.
before you do,
Okay.
I just
There's
have
birthdays.
something. Yeah, there's birthdays. I
Oh,
mean,
people are growing up.
Hey.
yeah,
Oh,
but yeah,
it's nice to
also
hear.
just so that people know, from today, 10 March until the 16th of March, it's National Gardens Week. So the South African National Biodiversity Institute is granting free access to South Africans for their national botanical and zoological gardens. So for those nature lovers and those wellness enthusiasts, if you are looking to be out in nature, that is today until the 16th of March. You can go and check out some cool stuff and be in nature, connect, explore, and be one with nature with National Gardens Week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in celeb birthdays, right, we have the very famous person that we all grew up watching. If you're not a 2000, Chuck Norris.
Norris. man.
Walker, Texas Ranger. He's turning 84 today. Happy
40.
birthday. 84. I mean.
Hey, buddy.
84.
He's knocking those years.
Wow.
84.
Nice.
Chuck Norris is turning 84. And then we also have Bad Bunny, who's also known as a rapper and an actor. He's turning 30 this year.
Yeah, he's also a wrestler, by the way.
Bad Bunny.
Yeah. he
Yeah,
was
but
featured
Getty
in
Fortnite,
wrestling.
let's be honest, he doesn't literally actually know how to wrestle. And we also have Brie Turner, who's also an actress, and she acted in Grimm from 2012 to 2017.
Oh.
Yeah. So those are our birthday shout outs for today.
Happy birthday.
If you know anybody who's having a birthday today, please make sure that you also please make sure that you also tag us on Vooka Breakfast Show. Don't forget to also use the hashtag to celebrate their birthday.
Exactly. Hashtag word of the day. Well, you know that word play a significant role in our lives and each and every day. So it is important to be careful how you use your word to make sure that your momentum and your flourishment throughout the day is exactly the way that you need it to be. So, ladies, let me move to our word of the day. Today is the 10th of March, 2025. We woke up by the grace of God. Amen.
Amen.
Right. So, our word of the day is catalyst.
Catalyst.
Catalyst, right? Catalyst is spelled as follows: Catalyst. It's Catalyst. That's catalyst. So you might be asking yourself, Mo, what is catalyst, right? Let me give you a definition. So a catalyst is a person, event, or a situation that precipitates a change or triggers a reaction. It's a person, an event, or a situation that precipitates a change or triggers a reaction. Example sentence: how would you use a catalyst in a sentence? So, the new manager was catalyst for the company's transformation and growth. Right?
Yes.
The new manager
Was a
the
catalyst.
catalyst for the company's transformation and growth. I mean, today I'm very catalyst.
Catalytic.
I'm a catalytic presenter, right?
You are encouraging what?
Yeah, I am bringing growth and
And
transformation.
change. Ah.
The more you absorb information, the more you create transformation,
Am
right?
I?
I'm a catalytic presenter, man, definitely. So inspiration for Monday is be a catalyst for positive change in your life and lives of those around you. Take initiative, inspire others, and spark meaningful conversations throughout the week. A very good week it is, and to start a Monday with beautiful motivation. So that was today in history and word of the day. Because now we are heading to the top of the hour, which is 8 o'clock. We're going to give you your recap of the news and sports headlines that you missed right here. Hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show is the hashtag to use. Share the live and press the notification button. Comment down below. Engage with us as we get the energy mode going right here. So right now, let me get you prepped once again with your weather forecast.
Hey family.
Hi.
My name is Tisika Mazibuko Shabalala.
My name is Moketi Maimane.
My name is Musi Miss
My name is Ketumguni
on the Vooka
Vooka Breakfast Show.
Every weekdays from 7 a.m.
to 10 a.m.
This is where we are going to have our topical discussion featuring various experts from different fields.
We're going to take care of you and it's going to be amazing, man. Right now I'm on the set of the Vooka Breakfast Show brought to you by the Blink-On Network.
Do not forget to subscribe.
That's Vooka Breakfast Show on Facebook and all other social media platforms.
Vooka.
See you there.
Vooka Breakfast Show.
We're out here in the heart of Soweto, Top Santon. This is right next to Zondi Hills and just before you get to Broad Fisher Club. I'm out here, my name is Musi Mest. I'm out here with the one and only maximum temperature. I'm working with my man. TC Shabalala Wakamazibugo, and of course our station manager, the one and only Manelin Lyric. And we're traveling out here, man. This is what we do on the Vooka Breakfast Show.
Yeah, you gotta get it fresh.
We are fresh and nice. Now it's time to take the information to the people.
Of course, like Mo just mentioned, one of our do stay tuned, comment, like, subscribe, share your thoughts and your opinions and everything else in between. We're going to be coming to a street to do live near you, wanting to know what your thoughts are out there on the street.
First, we've got TC Mazibuko with the traffic update. Right now, we are going to N1 southbound to make sure that whatever that you guys get, it is real-time information. So, looking at Mukhorosi, we have robots that are not working right here, but the traffic is moving. We're going to look at when is your rush hour time, when people are from the work, from school,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes,
Gonna
sir.
give you your daily update. So do make sure that you stay with us. Mobile Vooka Breakfast
Yes,
Show.
sir.
Asante ya three.
Once again, good morning, Mzansi. My name is Moketi Maimane, and these are your second morning headlines for the day. So, the first one, Ramaphosa sends a stern warning to Gauteng leaders. President Cyril Ramaphosa criticized Johannesburg's deteriorating state, citing governance failure, financial mismanagement, and crumbling infrastructure ahead of the G20 summit. He urged improvement to restore pride and showcase South Africa positively. Cape Town's Mayor Gordon Hill Lewis responded by offering Cape Town as an alternative host, highlighting its well-maintained infrastructure and its natural beauty. Heading to the last headline for today, discussion: South Africa will suffer a blow should it be expelled from the AGOA. Expulsion from AGOA could harm South Africa's competitiveness, with tariffs averaging 3% on exports to the US. According to Wandile Sihlobo from the Agricultural Business Chamber, despite uncertainty, he hopes South Africa remains part of AGOA as the US play a vital role in exports, particularly in industries like citrus, grapes, wine, and nuts, even though it accounts for only 4% of the total exports. That's all for the news headline. Stay tuned as I'm going to bring you another headlines for a recap on the top of the hour. Hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show is the hashtag. So what I'm going to do right now is to head over to traffic update with TC Wawamazibugo.
Hey family.
Hi.
My name is Tisika Mazibuko Shabalala.
My name is Moketi Maimane.
My name is Musi Miss
My name is Ketumguni
on the Vooka
Vooka Breakfast Show.
Every weekdays from 7 a.m.
to 10 a.m.
This is where we are going to have our topical discussion featuring various aspects from different fields.
We're going to take care of you and it's going to be amazing, man. Right now I'm on the set of the Vooka Breakfast Show brought to you by the Blink-On Network.
Do not forget to subscribe.
That's Vooka Breakfast Show on Facebook and all other social media platforms.
Vooka.
See you there. I hope you've been having a good morning there with us, Mzansi. This is your second traffic update. There has been an incident in Midrand on the N1 southbound at the off-ramp to Olifantsfontein Road. Emergency lane has been closed. There's a stationary vehicle in the Greenstone Hill on N3 southbound Eastern Bypass at the off-ramp to Modderfontein Road, R25. The emergency lane is closed. There is congestion on the N1 northbound just before the Deep Kloof interchange. This congestion is affecting the on-ramp to the N12 Southern Bypass. There has been a crash on the N1 southbound just after the Brakfontein interchange. This incident is affecting the ramp from Dunny Joubert Freeway, N1 South, resulting in one of the 6 lanes being closed. There's also a stationary vehicle in Midrand on the N1 southbound just after the New Road ramp from the New Road. This incident has resulted in the shoulder of the lane being closed. That's all for now. Stay tuned as we have more stuff for you to engage with us on our topical table.
Well, yeah, shopping blossom memory. Yes.
Wow.
You wish it was you. Well, yeah, shopping blossom memory. Yes.
Wow.
You wish it was you.
3 minutes past 8, it is the time right here on the hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show. So those were news headlines. So stay updated and stay tuned for more, because more is coming. As we know that headlines are very important to start off the day, just to know and be kept updated on what is happening on our country. So what I'm going to do right now is to read the comments that we have on YouTube. I have Zinzi Elizabeth. Good morning. Hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show with those red hearts. Good morning to you, Zinzi. I hope wherever you are good and woken up with a spirit of Monday motivation, because Monday motivation is what we will be having right now. Everyone needs a dose of motivation just to kickstart their week and make sure that everything is well-oiled within. And then I have Itumeleng Diale at hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show, just like Itumeleng Diale is doing. The hashtag to use is the hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show. My name is Moketi Maimane, aka Max Maximum Temperature, the son of Mother Nature. You're watching Vooka Breakfast Show. So right now, I am joined by the one and only M-O-C-E, Mr.
M-O-O.
M-O-O.
C-E-E.
C-E-E,
We need to get it right, bro.
Good morning, sir.
We need to get it right, my brother. We can't be messing around here. We can't be misspelling things, and you know. But thanks, Mo. I'm so happy to be here. Good morning, Wanagochai. I'm talking to you. Kiwalwena, you're ready from wherever you're tuned in from. Welcome to you, and welcome to me. And of course, in a second, I'm gonna welcome our guest right here on our desk, Mo. But before we get to that, Wanagochai, I couldn't be happier to be in your company. It's a fresh week. And this is officially the beginning of the second week of March in 2025. It's Monday. And you know what we do on a Monday morning? Of course, we really, really try to motivate you and just give you a kickstart, a fresh kickstart to the week so that when you go through the entirety of your week, you're well motivated, you're well prepared, and you're well amped up, man, to do an amazing job in all the things that you're doing. I couldn't be happier to be in your company, like I said. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Of course, this is a Monday morning, and you're hanging out with us on, well, with me and, of course, the rest of the team. And my name is MOOCEE, Mr. Musi, Mr. And I couldn't be happier to be with you this morning. I hope and I trust that you're having an amazing morning thus far. This is, of course, hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show, brought to you by the Blinko Network. Mo,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, my brother.
Yeah, tell me, man.
For
Hit
a
me.
change.
Yeah.
For a change after a while. Yesterday I went to church.
Mm,
I went to church.
Amen.
And yesterday was officially the first Sunday of the Lenten season. You remember last week on Wednesday we did
Yeah, yeah.
Ash Wednesday.
True,
Right.
true.
So yesterday was the official first Sunday of the Lenten season. So this in Christian faith, in the Christian faith, is when the 40 days that Jesus was in the desert,
Yeah.
you know, and so we're celebrating that. And this is the time to try and reflect and redeem certain things, you know, to try and connect. So it was such cool stuff for me to go to
man.
church after such a while, man.
Yeah.
I hadn't been, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. You know, this morning I'm not 100. I could be better. You know, I'm coming. I think I might be coming down with the flu that you mentioned last
man.
week. You know, this
The flu that's
change
going
of season flu that's going on,
yeah.
and people
And
that's
it's
having
rainy
people
also.
sniffling. Exactly. You know, but I'm trying to fight it as best as I can, and just to get on 100, man.
Yeah.
But you and I are not alone.
Yeah,
Right now.
definitely,
You and
man.
I are not alone, and we're joined by such an amazing guy. I can't wait to get into it.
Definitely,
To get to know him and
definitely,
what he's
definitely.
about.
Yeah.
Osvaldo Naka.
Naka.
Did I pronounce that correctly?
100%.
I try, because I'll tell you what the thing is. Mo knows. I'm very mindful of how I pronounce people's names. So I really try and get it the first time around. But if I don't, I ask what the correct pronunciation is. Because I'll tell you with my name is spelled MUSI.
MUSI.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a Setswana name, right?
Yeah.
And so people tend to mispronounce it and say Musi, which means something totally different. So my name means a ruler, someone who rules.
Oh, yeah.
And the name or the word Musi is smoke. So two totally, completely different things, man.
Interesting.
You know, so I always try and explain to people, it's a double consonant, it's a double M, and not one M. So even with other people's names, I try to pronounce them correctly the first time around.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So Osvaldo Naka.
Yes,
Welcome,
Osvaldo.
my brother. Welcome. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. I'm grateful to be here.
Yes, sir.
Which
Yes,
is
sir.
one of those things that I really love doing whenever my voice can be spread somewhere.
Yes, sir.
So
yes,
really,
sir.
really grateful to be
Thank you for coming through and taking the time to come and hang out with us this morning. I know when you got here this morning, I asked you if you had a hard time getting here, because I know what the GPS can do sometimes in getting here. It'll give you the same street, but not the exact house. You know, so I've heard that with other people coming to join us here in studio. But it wasn't too hard getting here.
No, it wasn't. I think Google Maps updated the system or something.
Yeah,
'cause it took me
definitely.
straight outside, yeah.
Yes, sir. I see that. Welcome. So,
Thank you so much.
Osvaldo is going to be joining us for the next 10 to 15 minutes, just going through all things motivational and trying to amp us up for the rest of the week. You know that when the weekend comes, we get to be busy with so many things.
Yeah,
Mo.
true.
We get involved and we get sucked up with so many things, and 2 days is not enough. 2 days is not enough. And when Monday hits, Monday morning comes, some of us are fatigued.
Yeah.
Some of us are not necessarily as ready as
Still
we would
soaked
love
up
to.
by the
Absolutely,
weekend.
you know, by the weekend. So we need a fresh start to
Yeah,
the week
man.
to get
Yeah.
us ready for the rest of the week, my brother.
Yeah, definitely. Hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show is the hashtag to use while asking your questions. We have Mr. Osvaldo Naka right here on the motivational Monday motivation right here segment. So do make sure that you stay with us as we are about to begin to have a conversation with him. Once again, good morning, Mr. Osvaldo. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Like I said earlier, really grateful to be here. So-
Definitely. Can you just take us through, man, what you do?
Okay, so what I do is I study human behavior.
Ah.
And through that, what I always strive to do is to find out what makes or what drives the individual apart from anybody else.
Yeah.
So in essence, it's sort of like trying to find what unique message or unique void a person is out here to fulfill.
Okay.
Yes.
So, because I saw on your bio that you're from Mozambique, you
Yes.
know, born and bred in Mozambique. In what year did you move to South Africa?
Oh, yeah. So I moved to South Africa in 1996.
Okay.
At that time, I was about 6 years
Okay.
when I migrated this side. So I could say that I was born in Mozambique but bred in South Africa. So maybe I'm in Albania or Sasko. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Very interesting. I'll tell you, the man that got married to my grandmother was Mozambican as well, and
Okay.
he was from I think the province of Tete.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So when my grandmother shares those stories and her visiting that side and his family, she always complained about having such a long travel.
Yes.
Because you would correct me, of course, but more from what she would tell us is that Tete is very quite deep in Moz. Did you grow up around there, or was it too far from where you grew up?
No, it's actually too far.
It's
from
too
where
far. A lot of people say
Yeah,
that.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
It's like it's a different province within a different province. So
Yeah.
If you travel from here, you go to Mozambique. That's in Maputo. That's the province.
Yes.
Then from there you go to a different province, which is then Nyembani. And then from Nyembani, then you get
You can
Tete,
go to Tete.
Yeah.
which is further up
Sheesh.
north.
Yeah. I see. So in you getting that this side, you now start going to school this side.
Yes.
And of course you finish primary, you finish high school. How do you then move into wanting to go into the space of human behavior?
Okay, so my story is quite interesting because grade 12, while I was doing my grade 12,
Yes, sir.
a month before I finished, my parents sat me down and they're like, listen, you're grown enough now, so once you're done with your matric, you have to decide how your life will have to go. If you want to go to school, you'll have to find a way to go to school. You'll have to find a way to pay for your own schooling. So in essence, that then started my freedom journey because I started doing odd jobs, working at restaurants.
I see.
Um,
Is this during matric or after matric?
This is after matric. So I started working 2 weeks straight after my matric. It's like, people are going to matric dances. I'm there working at a restaurant.
Man, I can imagine. Yeah.
So then, because I was working at odd jobs, I was like, okay, I want to further my studies. Then I started studying with UNISA. Then the question always came with, what is it that I really want to do with my life? So I stayed with UNISA, and then I think after 2 semesters, then I decided I'm graduating.
Yeah.
Which I always say that I'm decided to drop out. So when I said decided to graduate, it's because
it wasn't the school's choice. It
No, it
was
wasn't
your
the school's
choice.
choice,
I
it was
see you.
my choice.
I see you. So when you take the decision to say, you know what, I want to go study at UNISA, what's the thing that is in your mind? I want to pursue this career, or I want to study. What was the thing at the time?
So at the time I was studying economics because I wanted to know more about money, how finance works.
Oh,
and
I see.
That was the big void. Then when I turned, I think 27, 28, a lady called me up to do Toastmasters. I was like, okay, what is this thing all about? I went in and I fell in love with the speaking profession. Then one of the things was that I did not want to just go up on stage and speak. Instead, I wanted to go up on stage and give you a tool that you could walk away with. So that then brought up the idea that if you really want to make a difference, study how humans really behave. So I started reading a lot of books from the age of 23, 24.
I see.
In reading those books, you get to understand how the mind works, how the body works, how different aspects of the human being works. Then I was really, really fortunate enough to meet a gentleman who really revolutionized my life and how I see life. I always reference him because he's been a great mentor. His name is Dr. John DiMartini. And I came across him through a business partner of mine. A business partner of mine is like, listen, I got this great CD, you should listen to it.
Yeah.
I listened to it and everything he said on there was so profound. And through that, then I attended his courses, attended his training programs, and I learned tools that literally get you to understand why we make the decisions that we make. That was like, okay. And through him, then started delving deep into philosophy, psychology, finance, and different aspects of learning that until now I just can't run away from for some reason.
Very interesting stuff. More, you know what I love, and this is something. I'll tell you, Osvaldo, I myself am someone who's dabbled in sharing the knowledge and information that I've been able to gather over the years, right? But this is in the artistic and creative spaces, primarily music, right? So from quite a very young age, I think the first time I started teaching and, sharing my knowledge of music was back in the 10th grade.
Yes.
Even in the 11th grade, there was a high school down the road from my school. And I would go to that school and go teach music as a student myself, as a high school student myself. And so one of the things that I usually, over the years, I've been telling people is that, and this is something I think we should try and tackle as a society more, is that there's nothing wrong with being a 20-year-old, a 21-year-old, a 22-year-old even. You're still a few years outside of high school, right? You just finished high school recently. There's nothing wrong with not necessarily knowing what you want to do for the rest of your life. Travel, meet new people, study this, and drop out. Go study that, make bad decisions because you're in your 20s. And I think this is something that should also be taught at a very young age, at OCD age. ECT, man, OCT, at an ECT, at an ECT level, man. Or even when one gets to the 8th grade, there is nothing wrong with not necessarily knowing what you want to study and tackle for the rest of your life. Because it's this thing where you just finished matric, or you're in your matric year, or the final stages of your 11th grade, and you're like, Osvaldo, what do you want to learn? You're in the 11th grade. These marks are important. Do you remember the thing back in high school?
Yes.
And they'll bring all these motivational speakers, and they'll have like a career day, and but I think one of the things that we're not taught as young people, as young students in high school, is that when you get to your 20s, you're going to explore so much. You're going to meet so many people, and life really gets real, and you start living life now outside of high school as a young 20-year-old, 21-year-old. And I personally feel that this is something I always teach, even in my music classes. I tell my students, and even the adults that I teach, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. So I absolutely get that. Studying economics and then meeting someone else later in your late 20s and then finding something that you feel like you can run with for the rest of your life. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think I'm in agreement with you because I think what we're not taught, especially in high school, is that you can find something that you really love doing and something that you have the advantage over other human beings and do that and you're able to actually infuse that into all areas of your life. So for example, if you're someone who loves football, soccer, but his body's not built to play soccer, but you love mathematics, you can go into data analytics and still work in the field of soccer.
And apply,
So that love is tied in. So what we're not taught is find something that you love and something that you're psychologically strong in doing.
Definitely.
And let that be the benchmark. So for instance, I was not taught that I know how to speak. So I had to discover that later on in life. So if you find where a child is more strong and where they're most gifted, as we'd like to say, and teach them how to hone that skill. And if they're able to hone that skill, then their self-confidence is at the highest with that specific skill. Where it becomes a bit confusing is when the child doesn't know what their own talents is and how to express the talent. Now what starts to happen is I start comparing you, who's the soccer player, who's getting all the accolades in society. And now I'm not as good as you now. See, but because now I'm trying to be something that I'm really not.
Yes, and you're trying to live up to my skills, which might not necessarily be the skills that you have.
100%. So we're taught this comparative thing that we start to compare then. Okay, your report card says you got 80% in maths. I got a 40% in mathematics. But we don't ask the question, okay, outside of mathematics, where is this person most strong? And even if it's playing TV games, I mean, I've got a 5-year-old who give him a computer, he knows how to work the computer because he just wants to play computer games. And that's what he wants. and you find that when he plays computer games, there's mathematics that is involved, because when you accelerate, there's numbers.
True.
And when you turn a car, there's angles. So that's how I believe people should be taught at a young age, to take what they love and convert that into different types of, okay, where do you find mathematics in the thing that you love doing? So that's what I believe that the foundation phase is sort of missing, is teaching us how to find the things that we're most great at, and how to express that, because it is something that serves the world, that I found. Yeah.
True. Interesting, Mr. Osvaldo. I have Zinzi Elizabeth. It's a text or a comment that she posted earlier and said, "What a lovely surprise to see today's guest. Good morning, Mr. Osvaldo. Welcome."
Man, such cool stuff.
And then another question that I want to ask you, Mr. Osvaldo, is that has to do with motivation, because we grew up in spaces where motivation was just seen as speaking words into thin air. Yes. Right. So I just want to ask you, what importance does motivation serve?
Okay, so I'm gonna crack that a little bit, right? In my studies, in studying philosophy, psychology, and studying different human beings who've reached a high level of success, is that when the misconception that we have is that you need motivation to do something. And instead, what I found is the highest achievers in society are not people who are motivated by something, but instead are inspired by a vision. Because what tends to happen is motivation is something that is short-lived. So, for instance, motivation is something that tries to get you to do something that you don't necessarily want to do, but you'll do it because the pleasure of doing it outweighs the pain. So in other words, you could either try to avoid pain by doing it because you know you're going to get the pleasure. So if I told you right now that, okay, I want you to push a wheelbarrow, you see that the pain of pushing the wheelbarrow is very high. So the motivation has to be high enough for you to do it. So I tell you, I'm going to give you R1 million on Friday if you push the wheelbarrow for a full week. And you say, okay, I'm going to do it. But then the question is, how long would you push that wheelbarrow for? Would you push that wheelbarrow for the next 10 years? Would you do that?
I mean, me personally, I think I'd have to think about it for a second. But I get what you're saying. That it speaks to being motivated and somewhat of an incentive of some sort, to try and push you and drive you to fulfill that the task at hand that you have.
100%.
Yeah.
But if you're driven by a vision, you made a clear example of in 1994, we became a democratic country. Now, if Nelson Mandela was motivated by that, he wouldn't have spent the 27 years in prison. But instead, he was inspired by the vision that we now experience. So that's why it's very important that you understand motivation and understand why you're doing what you're doing, but also delve a bit deeper and say, okay, what's my deepest inspiration? Because when you come from the point of inspiration, you're not driven by the pains and pleasures of doing something, but you're driven by, I want to make this vision come true. And this is something, when you really understand Nelson Mandela, the great people, you'll see that he was inspired by the vision of people being together. And that's what drove him, that inspiration point.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of, I've came across what we call human behavioral psychology. Right. So they study human behavior. It's a course that study human behavior. And then Vusi Tembegwayo once said motivation only plays 1% in your life.
Yes.
So I was trying to understand that because, yes, I have been a victim of reading a quote in social media, and say, you know what, tomorrow I'm getting up, I'm chasing my dreams. But when tomorrow comes, it will only just be a few seconds in the morning and then I go back to sleep and say, you know what, this, is not really applying to what I want to do for the rest of my life. Right. So what importance does it serve to kind of study human psychology into understanding and applying things like motivations in our lives?
That's a beautiful question. What goes into that? The key, right, is always what you want to do is you study psychology to understand yourself better. There's a famous saying that they call it the Greek in Greeks, they used to have this epitaph that says, know thyself and be thyself. So if you know who you truly are, like he said, when he was in grade 10, he was already teaching music.
Yes.
No one told him to teach music. It was something that came from within. He knew that he excelled at that.
Yeah.
So the reason why you didn't do that was because, again, the pleasure of doing it did not correspond with the pain of you having to do it. But if you know yourself and say, okay, well, if my biggest inspiration is playing soccer or basketball, when I read the motivation quote, I'm not reading the motivation quote to do what the book is telling me to do, but I'm reading it to help me become a better soccer player or a better basketball player. So now you're applying it to the trade or to the thing that you want to most accomplish. And when you see that, you're able to take actions on that. That's where the motivation will come in. It's sort of like that little boost that gets you to complete that task. So that's where motivation will come in. But I always go back and say, if you know yourself, you study yourself, and in learning psychology, learning these different fields, it teaches you to know yourself better, to know where your weaknesses are and where your strengths are, and not to sort of fix your weaknesses, but instead take advantage of your strengths, how to apply your strengths. Because that's the one thing that we're not taught that, you know what, if I've got a weakness somewhere, I should try and delegate that weakness. Because not only does it serve the economy, it makes it much better. And if I'm focused on my strengths, then I'm able to excel again by that. So understanding psychology and all these fields is all about helping you to understand yourself, understand why you make certain decisions, why you don't take certain actions. So that's I would say the advantage and a service that it can do to you in studying those fields.
More very, very interesting stuff. You know, we always learn so much knowledge and information. We get so much knowledge and information, especially from guests like Osvaldo, people who are very knowledgeable and informed in all of these fields and, you know, points of discussion that we always try and have right here on the desk. You know, you mentioned something earlier, and what sparked in my mind is that it sort of kind of borders between passion and what it's expected of you as an individual to go study, right? Because the usual things that were, I guess, motivated to go and study is the most basic things that we have, and things that speak to a conventional 9-to-5, right? Being a doctor, being a teacher, you know, being a lawyer, being an accountant, you know, all of these things that were given and taught at a very young age. These are the things that you should strive to achieve, and the jobs that you should strive to have one day. But now, how do you then differentiate between, you know, following your passion and, like you mentioned just now, taking advantage of the strengths that you have, you know, and doing what, I guess, your parents and the general society would expect a 19-year-old to go study? Like, how do you draw the difference? Because I personally feel like it's a very thin line, and it's very easy to jump back and forth.
Yes. There's nothing wrong. I think that there's nothing wrong with studying those subjects.
Yes, sir.
There's nothing wrong with doing accounting and doing your general subjects that the world has to offer, or the norm has to offer, where you'd find that you're going to get feedback in your life when you know that something is really not for you. You get feedback through your emotions.
True.
You get feedback through how you express yourself. You get this feedback through your self-confidence as well. So your body in itself speaks, and your emotion in itself speaks, and it reacts to it. And if you do something long enough, you could even cause symptoms in your body as a feedback. You could get sick. You could be bedridden. That's giving you feedback to let you know that you're overdoing or overstimulating is not correlated to what your higher vision is. So your body will give you that feedback. So take those feedbacks, things like sickness, headaches, or even flu. those little frustrations that you do get as a feedback, because that's a guidance system and it's guiding you.
It's a natural guidance system.
Yes, so it's guiding you to tell you that, okay, what you're doing could necessarily either doesn't fit into the bigger puzzle or you don't see it. So for instance, right now, I'm learning about investing and how to handle your money properly.
Yes, sir.
Right? So if I studied accounting or had a degree in accounting, that skill could help me because now it's a life skill. I can use that same skill to start a business that I love, that is profitable, that I can walk away from. Because, for example, starting a radio station, you could say, no, it's my passion to start a radio station, but how do I sustain it? Okay, I need to know accounting, I need to know about economics, I need to know about different topics that will run the
day-to-day,
the day-to-day. So if you're able to take those subjects and link it to that inspiration and that vision that you have, it becomes part of it. So what I'm trying to say, or the message that I'm trying to say is that it's not that it's right or wrong to study those subjects. It's just that we need to find a way to either link those subjects to that bigger picture that you have, or sometimes a person would just be like, no, I just need to focus on this inspiration points of this is what I want to do. And those things will come along as I go in. Or I can just delegate those things to someone else by hiring it and turning what I do or what I'm most passionate about into a business that pays me and gets other people to do the accounting and the marketing and so forth.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Very interesting.
I love it, definitely.
Out of curiosity, man, how many books have you read?
Oh, well, I've read over 300 books.
Sheesh,
These
come
are the books that I've counted.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, out of all those books, what would you say was the most interesting one for you?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. For me, you can see I'm actually coming alive right now. There's about 4 books that stand out, 4 to 5. The number one book I would say that made the greatest difference is called The Breakthrough Experience.
The Breakthrough Experience.
Yeah, The Breakthrough Experience. It's tied into the mentor that I spoke about, Dr. John DiMartini. And in that book, you get psychological exercises that teach you how to bring balance to your emotions and your perceptions. So in that book, it's like, wow, it's like taking a psychology class. But it's very non-conventional, right? And then the second one, I would say, it's called The 48 Laws of Power. I don't know if most people would know that one, by Robert Greene.
48 Laws of Power.
Yeah, The 48 Laws of Power. That one is by Robert Greene. But what's nice about that book, it's in the way that it's written. It studies power, how power works, the different power dynamics, the different power traits that people have expressed throughout the ages. But that book also is one of those books that I can say, okay, is Robert Greene's best work. The third one would be, it's called The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. So if you want to learn about investing, want to learn about how Warren Buffett started out in his investment career, he's the guy who most influenced Warren Buffett on how to think about investing and how to think about money. So that book is good. The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. Then the fourth one, this is tough.
Tough one. Have you read Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman?
Not entirely, but thank you so much for that, because the fourth book is called Think and Grow Rich. Thank you so much
Think
for
and
that.
Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich,
Yeah, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon Hill,
That book is a transformational book. If you read anyone who's been very successful, especially from the past days, they will always reference that book, the Think and Grow Rich. Once you start reading that book, you can never get enough, because that book ties in a lot of psychology, a lot of philosophy, and what's inspiring about Napoleon Hill is that he studied over 300 or to 500 successful people back in the days. So he had access to Mr. Ford, to your Henry Carnegie. So having sitting down with them, that's when he came up with the principles for success. So that was his life mission. And in one of the chapters, he talks about how he had to go through 25 years of pain and pleasure just to get together this principle.
Wow.
And there were moments where he would be told to give up, and what is this thing called philosophy? He didn't understand what it was. But those books, I think, have played a major part in there. And right now, I'm really starting to fall in love with older books, philosophy books.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
people need to start reading.
I
Yeah,
love it,
interesting,
man.
man. Because
Yeah.
reading is part of being motivated.
Yeah.
And I was taught, there was this author who, wrote this line that you must teach yourself that every time when you read a book, it's like you're having a conversation with an
Yes.
author.
Yes.
It really changes your perspective, and that conversation, would go up and lead you to different dynamics of seeing life. So it is very important to highlight, reading, and people should start reading.
Definitely.
And also, I hope that those books that you have suggested, people are going to take
We'll go
them.
back. I'm one of those people. Mo.
Yeah,
I'll tell
yeah.
you, Osvaldo, I will be honest, and it's something that I don't really like, admitting about myself and to myself more than
Yeah.
to anyone else, is that I'm not necessarily a big reader, right? But I do try and source, and this is conversations that Mo and I would have. I'm generally just hanging out,
Right.
I'm not much of a reader in terms of books necessarily, but I do try and source my information and my knowledge and just education in general in the society from various sources,
Right.
from people who are well learned and informed, such as yourself. I'm an auditory learner more than anything else.
Right.
I think I've recently found that I think those are also some of the things that we need to start identifying even about ourselves, right? And a whole lot of these things, I usually tell Mo that a whole lot of these things, I personally feel that it's things that should be taught from an ECD level.
Right.
Fundamentals from a very young age that one recognizes whether you are a visionary learner, an auditory learner. I'll make an example about a very famous actor, Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Tom Cruise is a dyslexic individual,
Yeah.
and he learns his scripts by listening to them as opposed to reading them. And these are some of the things that we find out about ourselves as adults later in life, and it would have helped you to have found out about it at an earlier age,
Right.
and know how to navigate that space, But with all of this information that you've gathered in the books and the knowledge and, so much that you've gathered over the years, what's the one thing that you are certified in terms of facilitating when you go into rooms and you do your talks and your motivational, in the motivational space
Right.
in general? Yeah.
Yeah, so I use something which is called the DiMartini method, because in all my years of study research, that method is the number one method that I've found to be the most powerful tool that has the power to transform someone. And I'm not talking about in a matter of days and weeks. I'm talking about matter of hours. Because the way that method is set out, it's set out where at the end, no matter what the event is or what your perception is of the event, you come out feeling gratitude for that event have happened, because you're able to see how that event is linked to your purpose in the grander scheme of things, how it's not only served you, but it's also served everybody else who's come in contact with you, and how that has impacted other people. A practical example of that is the transformation that it had on me on the 2-day seminar, which is called the Breakthrough Experience Seminar, on the 2-day program, is I was holding on to a specific story about my dad or about my father for the longest of time. I think until like the age of 26, 27. And I was able to break through that story within the one day. And I realized that once you break through the story that you've been telling yourself, you're able to tell yourself a different story. So what the method helps, and what it does is you come there with a certain story, but we're able to transform the story that you come in with. So we get rid of the story that you're telling, and now you're like, oh, I don't have that psychological excuse of that story anymore. So if you come and say, well, my teacher insulted me when I was in grade 3 and told me that I was stupid.
Yes.
The story that you're telling yourself is, I'm stupid,
I'm
I'm
stu-
stupid,
yes.
I'm stupid. So once we come in there, we break down that, and then we get rid of that story. now you have the power to tell yourself a different story. And now the internal conversation then starts to happen.
And essentially, I feel like it's changing the narrative as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yes, so you're 100% on that.
Yeah.
You're able to then change the narrative.
Yeah.
Because but remember that this is years of study that has gone into this work. And this, like I said, is the greatest tool that I've come across. And it works in all areas of life.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Mo, there's so much to learn, man. There's so much
There
to
is.
grasp. And I feel
There
like,
is, man.
Osvaldo, we should have you again on, on another Monday, man.
yes.
I would love to have you back and sit down and share more information and share so much knowledge. Because I feel like in music, the analogy when I go into the artistic and creative spaces, the analogy that I like using when we're going back and forth, with other creatives and artists in the space is that I like using the analogy of math to music and music to math. I'm not much of a mathematician myself, but the how I tie the two is that math is an ending, and you can never say
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? To always be relevant, you always have to be practicing and executing your mathematical skills. No matter how much you've acquired over the years, but to be relevant and to be there, you always have to be practicing. Same with music. The same with music. You can never say, I know all the theory.
Right.
Or I've ventured into all the spaces of what music offers, So I feel like it's the same with philosophy and psychology and the research and the practice of psychology and philosophy. You can never say, because human behavior always changes.
And
people's perspectives,
evolves,
and it evolves more with the involvement of the world as well. Very, very cool stuff. We have a few comments here on our YouTube, Osvaldo. This one is from TK1990. He says, #Vooka Breakfast Show. Good morning. Such a very interesting topic about psychology and things shared from Osvaldo. Things that one can learn and apply in life. Very profound, he says.
Yeah.
The other one is from Dumza6. He's saying, or she's saying, good morning, Mavuga Amahle. Quite an interesting discussion. I feel like I am in a circle of philosophers on this Vuga morning. Thank you for the wise words, gentlemen. #Sivugile, #Vuga Breakfast Show. The other one is from Dumza again, coming back saying, another good read I would like to add is The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. Are you knowledgeable about that one? Do you know that one?
Yes.
The Secret. Yeah. So he's adding that one as another read that we can look into. And I feel like we should also, maybe some of these books, because on Monday we do book reviews.
Right.
So some of these books are maybe more on a specific
definitely,
Monday. We can look into one of the 4 that you mentioned, and I'll try to break down and have a read of that and see what we can acquire from that book. Such amazing stuff, Mo.
Yeah, definitely. Mr. Osvaldo, before we let you go,
Yes.
We have this culture right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show that we do whereby we just play, a quick game,
Okay.
that involves questions. Because you are in the space of psychology, I have questions that are based on personality insights.
Yes.
I'm going to give you 3 questions and you have to answer the way you like. So the first question is, what is one thing you cannot live without and why is it important to you?
I can't live without my books.
Okay.
I can't. This is on a personal level, right?
Yeah.
I can't live without my books. Yeah, it's just me. Like I can't live without my books.
Interesting.
Give me books and
We're talking.
Yeah.
Second question: If you could switch lives with someone for a day, who would it be and why?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't switch lives with anybody. I think that my life is in what I have or don't have. It's complete in it because I've experienced a lot that I can go back and say, wow, I'm grateful for all the experiences that I've had. I wouldn't. Ask me that like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I would have said someone, but nah. I think my life, I'm grateful for how my life has turned out, with the good and the bad of it.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting answer, because in my mind, I'm like, if I could switch lives, Cristiano Ronaldo is the first person I would switch lives with. But interesting one. And then the last one is, what is the biggest risk you've ever taken and was it worth it?
The biggest risk I've ever taken. what is it, like a financial risk? Is it like a human
I mean,
risk? Like,
anything that you feel is
risk.
significant is the biggest one in whatever aspect of your life.
I think attending the training program. I mean, it cost 60,000 rand,
sheesh.
and that was the biggest risk. And the reward of that is that it's more rewarding. I can say that it's more than the 60,000 rand because it's led me to meet very interesting people, and it's just given me a different way of looking at life. Like, I don't think you can put a monetary value on that. Like, when I took out 60,000, but
Very interesting. Very interesting. I love it.
So the last question, and this one is for the viewers and everyone who's watching and listening from home. So I just want to ask that, is it viable, to kind of match motivation with environment? Because people believe that I can't be motivated while I live in the township, in the shacks. I can only be motivated when I live in the suburbs. When I'm in Sentin, that's where motivation can work for me and I achieve what I want.
environment plays a part to a certain degree, but it's never the excuse. Because look at all the great people, where they come from. They don't come from the greatest background. They come from where there was lack of opportunity, and they had to become someone in that environment. Yes, I do understand that it plays a role to a certain degree, but my whole thing is it's what's going on inside of you. You understand?
Yeah.
Because let's take the studio, for example, right?
Yeah.
Is the studio right next to YFM?
No.
Where's YFM situated? Where is it based? It's based where? In is it Houghton?
Rosebank, Houghton.
Rosebank,
Yeah.
Houghton. Okay,
Yeah.
where's Kai FM based? Where's Power FM based?
Yeah, all these
Yeah.
stations are somewhere in the north.
Are in the north,
Yes,
right?
sir.
But would you agree with me that this radio station is stationed where?
In Soweto.
In Soweto. But what's the inspiration behind the radio station? What's the message that the radio station wants to express and give out? So, yes, we can say it's based in Soweto, it can't have the impact that it had. But technology allows us to transcend those things. When we look at where we are as human beings, we can't make the excuse of the environment that I'm in. I'm not saying don't go to Sandton. I sometimes go to very wealthy areas and I sit down and I soak in that energy because it's a different environment. So what's really nice about South Africa is that a very wealthy neighborhood is only 30 minutes away from you.
True.
So nothing stops you from saying, I hate being in Soweto, I hate how Soweto is, and take out 30 rand, go spend about 8 hours in a very wealthy neighborhood and see how that neighborhood functions. And you start to realize that it's people who make up that neighborhood. So until our mindset shifts about where we live and how we live, I think I'm hoping to come and do like a financial thing tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Where we're going to get into finances and you're going to start to see the differences that I'm going to show you guys how to calculate something and be like, oh, this actually makes sense on whatever level you're in. So, yes, we can say environment, we can blame the environment, but at the end of the day, our greatest heroes didn't come from very wealthy suburbs. They didn't grow up there. But again, they had that inspiration and that vision to say, okay, this is where I want to go. And it's not to say that everybody will go there. And that's why the important thing is you need to surround yourself with people who are headed in the right path.
Yeah.
Because even if I go to Sandton and I associate myself with someone who doesn't have any motivation or inspiration, it's still the same thing. It's still the same thing. So I say, yes, environment, I'm saying to a degree, plays a specific part, but we've got technology, we've got access to literally anything. We could go on Google right now and say, okay, who made it out of Soweto and is rich now?
Yes, definitely.
And that becomes your reference point. Who had the worst story and came out of it? That then becomes your reference point. And that then becomes your environment, the things that you surround yourself with. Yeah.
Yo,
Oh,
Mr. Osvaldo,
I'm
I'm fired up, man.
Never, same more. And I'll tell you, I can't wait for tomorrow.
Definitely,
I can't wait for tomorrow when we get into
definitely,
personal
man.
finances. You know, on Tuesday mornings, every week on Tuesday mornings, we go into all things personal finances and managing your personal finances. Mo mentioned last week that we need to evolve and equip ourselves with the necessary information and knowledge when it comes to financial literacy and financial education. So I can't wait.
Yeah,
I still can't wait for tomorrow. But for today, since it's a Monday and it's a fresh start of the week, the second week of March in the third month of the year 2025, I'm motivated. I'm amped up.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
amped up, and I can't wait to have you back on a Monday, Osvaldo. Thank you so much. You know, with the question that Mo asked you in the game, that what can't you live without, and you mentioned books, because I know a lot of people would say their phones or like devices that we have, but I link it to, I don't know if you're a movie watcher. There's a movie called Inkheart.
Never seen him.
Inkheart is starring Brandon Fraser and Paul Bettany. It has Helen Mirren and other stars as well in the movie. But what the movie talks about is that Brandon Fraser in that movie is someone who, when they read a book, any book, when they read a book, all the characters come to life.
Wow.
Or most of the story in the book comes to life, and he has this aunt who has a huge library of a vast collection of books. And what she says to her great grand niece is that I've been all over the world, but it's all through books. So I love it. I love it when you say books are the one thing that you can't live without. So amazing stuff. We've learned so much. We've gained. I hope when you're from wherever you're tuned in from, you've gained so much knowledge, so much information, and you've taken things from our Monday motivation with Osvaldo, things that you can go forth in your life and execute them and try to put them to use in your day-to-day life. This is what we do on the Vooka Breakfast Show. Connect with us across all our social media platforms. We go by Vooka Breakfast Show. For now, let you and I, Osvaldo and Mo, take a break. Go grab a glass of water, a cup of coffee, and let's go pay our bills. I'll see you after this.
All right, 6 minutes till we hit 9 o'clock. You're still watching the Vooka Breakfast Show. And before the break, we had Mr. Osvaldo Naka, who is
Osvaldo, please,
Osvaldo
guys.
Naka, who is a motivational speaker. So I hope that you guys learned a lot with his journey and what is he about. If you missed the conversation, we are going to post it later shortly so that you can solely focus on it and get the wise words from him. So So right now, what we're gonna do is to move on our next segment. As we know that words play a vital role in our lives, and we always use words, and we always make sure that we don't use the wrong words when we are speaking with you. It's intentional, So it is very important that we are not lost in the translation of when somebody is speaking. It's very important to understand the phrases and sentences that are being used so that we can get a better understanding. So right here with me, I have what we call lost in translation or evolution of language. It's something that we are all familiar with.
Yeah.
But let me just take you through so that someone who is watching can get an understanding of what I'm speaking about. So right here with me, I have some phrases we commonly use that may and may not have lost their meaning. However, we have fully adopted them as the phrases belong to our cultures. The question is, should we stick our guns, or it's too late for change, or should we make the correction? Or hashtag kuyafana man, lento le ihleli. It's been here, right? So, what do you guys call the plug where is you figure in the two things? What is it called?
A 2-pin plug.
Well, now what do you call it?
2-pin.
But we know that on our original lost translation, it's a twin plug.
Oh, twin plug.
Twin
Yes.
plug. Okay.
No, kapuo ya bokasi. Yeah, kapuo ya rona.
I'm gonna get twin plug.
I'm tired. I'm not twin plug. Ke batla kenya charger mo.
That's also ekasi, if you're bisexual,
You are a twin plug.
they'll refer to you as
a twin plug, because let me not go deep.
It's derogatory also, but guys, asas.
Yeah, but we know that a lot of us have been lost in translation. And which ones can you guys share with us? Because I have a lot, right? I have few that I just want to go through, just to bring back those days, man. Not those days, because some of us, we still use them. When you go komakuling, my friend, give me a twin plug. Understand? Not a 2-pin plug. And then another one. Which one do you guys know?
Okay.
The ones that you
Things
feel
that
like
we say and we've normalized in our day-to-day
normalized.
speaking. I don't know, man, or in our day-to-day languages, spoken language. I don't know. I'm trying to think here.
And I can't think of one at the top of my head.
Same,
Dimas.
TC.
In it?
Dimas.
I'm at Dimas shades.
Yeah.
So
Sunglasses.
Dim ass.
So
I'm at Dimas.
dim
But is
eyes
it-
in a correct
but is it not
translation.
like-
What is it?
Dimmers to
To
dim.
dim. Yeah, dimmers.
To dim. Yeah,
To-
dimmers.
yeah. They're
Dimas.
shades, guys.
I think what also comes to play here is pronunciation.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
I'll tell you like what I can think of now is songs. There's a lot of songs
Yes.
growing up.
That we
Like
played
Michael
nursery
Jackson.
rhymes that
You
have
know,
just yeah.
Gary Potato.
Yeah.
Chalete family. Like, where did you get that? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
One thing about Sowetan, it's like one thing about South
Black-
Africans,
yeah,
black
Black
South
South
Africans,
Africans, yeah.
creativity is on another,
Yeah, no,
like
it's
it's on
crazy.
another
It's
level.
crazy.
The
So I
minute
think-
you hear something, you just personalize it. You put your own twist
To it,
put your own
definitely.
flavor.
Definitely.
They say it becomes a whole other thing, and it can become even a whole pop culture, or it
Thing,
can be
yes.
it
As
can
something
become a
that trends.
trend.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, TC. So I think pronunciation also comes to play here when we get lost in translation in some of the things that we've heard. Like, boom, 7 colors.
Yeah, several
Exactly.
colors.
Several colors.
Several colors as
7
opposed to
colors.
7
Exactly.
colors. Marok
And now
Salai.
black people have appropriated it in, made it into a thing. You should have 7 colors.
Yes.
And not several. Several could mean less than 7.
7, yeah.
It's still several colors.
Colors,
Mara batho ba bantsho will tell you.
Yes,
Mele
7
kube
colors.
yi-7.
7 colors.
Color
Sunday
is
os.
7.
Yeah.
Sunday
But
os.
guys, Dimas is wrong though.
Okay, what's the correct thing?
It's dim eyes.
Dim eyes.
Eyes.
Dimmers. I thought you.
Ufaka ama-Dimas wena. Hey, sakubona manje wena ufaka ama-Dimas.
Shades. Umusi is blessing us.
Ufaka
now, Akaba.
ama-Dimas.
Ufaka ama-Dimas.
Then we have Struce Bob.
Oh, yeah. True as Bob. Struce Bob.
Struce Bob.
True as Bob.
So Struce Bob, it derives from as true as Bob.
Bob.
And we know that Bob is the builder. So
But
nothing
who was
goes
Bob,
wrong.
though?
Bob,
Who
guys?
was Bob?
the
Who Bob? Why
Builder.
was he like made the pinnacle of truth?
Yes.
Bob
Why-
the Builder.
And for truth, I would think of Abraham Lincoln.
I mean,
Abraham Lincoln
Bob
was
as true
you
as
know,
Bob.
But wait, guys. I
Honest
think
Abe.
Bob was used on one of the ads. I think if it's not builders, if it's not kana ke eng tse ding? CTM, not CTM, but Builders Warehouse, man. I remember they
it
used to make an ad. You know, it was a
CTM
song
might
like
be.
Bob the Builder.
Ah, well, when are you thinking-
No, but Bob the Builder came years after the thing, Struce Bob or True as Bob had come up.
Yes, hence they made it and normalized it. Or Bob was always the builder.
But true, how?
True
as
as
Bob.
As true as Bob, guys, because
Bob.
Bob builds, man.
Someone with
He's a
knowledge, please.
builder.
But what does
Someone with knowledge, please comment because Mo is misleading us. here.
what does building and being true as Bob have? Like, what's the link?
What's the
Make it-
link,
Yeah.
please, Mo?
How do you
Stop
connect the
misleading
two?
us here, lying.
As true as the building that Bob built.
Maka.
And then the other one is Pansela. Do you know where
Oh.
Pansela derives
No.
Pay by seller.
from? Yes, paid by seller.
Paid
And
by
in
se-
Paid
Afrikaans,
by seller.
Pasela.
Pasela.
Afrikaans meaning the free gift.
Every
Yeah, so
Pansela.
when you totally Pansela. wena.
Yeah.
Right, so yes. And then secret socks.
I forget this one, but I know like the correct term is not secret socks. But I forget the actual one. But I learned this. I think I was back in matric.
Okay.
Because there was a friend of mine who never wore grey socks.
Oh, yes.
At school.
Yeah.
Ever. Because of the secret sock, you know.
Nemfihlo.
But yes, please tell us the correct term more.
The correct one is discreet.
Discreet socks.
Socks,
Oh,
yes.
oksalayo, secret
Secret.
socks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Secret socks. Yes, yes.
Isn't that like Jesus?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the one, TC. So yes, yes derives from Jesus Christ.
Derives, yeah.
Yeshua.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Jesus. Right. And then we have Nachmeri.
Nachtmerrie, yeah. Nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuck in a dream with limited
Yes,
Yes.
Nachtmerrie is that one that it's sleep paralysis.
Yes, but now it's been appropriated by the Black Society. Gore, ke a o kgemegile, o sa tsoga.
Yeah. I get it,
And-
they're taking it from the Afrikaans
Yes,
word.
yes, and now ke a o robetse. Like you're conscious, but you can't relay the information that your body can react
yeah,
to it.
to
You know?
wake up.
And it's a very like unpleasant feeling. I've had it a couple of
How
times.
often have I used to have them at some point in my life? Like, yeah, I don't know. I
Regularly.
was going through a lot psychologically.
Now they stopped.
And then, yeah, I would have them. It was the worst feeling.
Yeah.
The worst was also just having that out of body, like astral
Yes,
projection.
yes.
No, I would have those astral projection dreams where I'm looking at myself sleeping and I can't wake up, and there's like I'm having a nightmare at the same time because I'm seeing a dark entity coming towards my sleeping body and I'm out my body.
Yeah.
It was
It's-
terrible.
it's an unpleasant
Nachtmerrie.
feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nachtmerrie.
nachtmerrie, I'm on it.
Yeah, maniti,
Yeah.
that one.
I first time hearing it. Nachmeri. Yeah.
Sleep paralysis.
Into
Mo.
Damatimo.
Man.
It's demons. And then we have stock sweet.
Lollipop.
Lollipop.
Yeah.
A sucker. In some
Sucker.
countries.
yeah.
a
Others,
sucker.
I mean, in primary school, I would call it a sucker.
Yeah.
You are wrong. guys. It's a stick sweet. We
Yeah,
just changed the
oksala, it's
stick
a
to
lollipop.
It's a lollipop. It's
Stock sweet, yeah,
Stock
I
sweet,
get
I think, is also like
Stick
tied
sweet.
to Afrikaans as
Yeah,
well.
so it's
Because
derived from the
stick
fact that,
is,
yeah.
so stock.
Stock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Con drink.
Ah, never. Don't drink. Wait, yung khupotsang. I can't tell you that I know.
Con drink.
O sebenzisa ipi kana ba reng ane re gola. You know there's people who still use it. O sebenzisa ipi Colgate.
Kate.
Ke dilo
Ai,
ya tse
Nina,
jalo, you know,
yekelani
it's
tse
crazy.
jala, eh.
The Colgate
Hambo-
Aqua
hambo te-
Fresh.
Yeah, hambo thengi Coke le Fanta orange mali. Wena. It's very crazy. I love my Black Society, guys.
I love
communities
y'all,
are the
man.
best, yeah.
I love
You can't
y'all.
drink. You can't drink.
Exactly.
Nina, mas South Africans.
I said cold drink.
Ngiyanithanda.
Yeah, the correct term I would assume is cool or cold drink. Right?
Yeah.
Obviously,
yeah.
it's a cool drink.
Yeah.
It's a cold drink or
And then
cold
this
drink.
one, 7 colors. You guys said
several colors.
several colors, but
Yes.
the correct one is served in colors.
I never.
Served in colors.
That's
my brother.
that's proper
No,
English
Are you
right
also?
there.
Are you also like
That is proper English
giving us
right
your
there.
own remix, brother?
The plate,
sometimes.
the plate is served in colors.
No. In
I several
Never.
colors.
In colors.
There's no several colors.
No. It's Monday.
Several. Yeah.
So early in the
Served
week.
in
That
colours.
plate was served in colors.
There's no way.
Ah.
There were
Nope.
several colors on that plate.
Yes, yes. Very
But let
interesting.
us know, guys, which one is correct. Is it several colors or served,
in colour?
in colors?
No,
right?
guys.
Exactly. I think I'm gonna stick with served in colors. It makes sense.
No,
man.
yeah,
For
Rona,
you, Mo.
several
It makes sense.
colors, especially if
There
you're
are several colors on the plate.
especially if
because-
you're served a full plate of
Yes,
food.
because
There are
you are
several,
getting your different nutritional groups there on your plate.
and they come in several,
several
colors.
colors.
Yeah.
Did you not do that nutritional chart with the different colors?
Served in
No.
colors. That's
I don't
what
know.
I got. So another one. Then there are brands names that can be so prominent that we default to calling and competing brands by it, and you just named it. You're saying Colgate, Aquafresh.
Wena, ngisebenzisa le Colgate le Sensodyne man.
You
Le
know.
Sensodyne.
Yeah, and it's Sensodyne, Colgate is Sensodyne.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have it, which is toothpaste, and
Yes.
it's Colgate,
Colgate,
right?
yeah.
So you want toothpaste, yeah, Aquafresh. Toothpaste, yeah, Sensodyne.
Yes.
Oh, nkulunkulu wami. And then we have potato snacks.
Ooh.
Tina Swabiza.
My chips.
Amazimba.
Ama chips.
The original words is Simba chips, right?
Yeah, ama chips. Ama chips were
Potato-
lazy.
Yeah.
Ama chips were lazy. Lama chips lawa Doritos lawa blue lawa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Potato chips.
Yeah.
Yo, wait, but the other one that threw me off, man, is Amazenge.
Amazing. Oh yes.
No, but I get it, I think the association
Yeah,
is that
it's-
those chips
They look like-
corrugated
Yes.
zinc. Yeah, so that's why I think they were
Bobby's
associated.
Amazing.
Yo, I would be so confused if I didn't know, like in Amazenge.
Amazenge,
Oh,
yeah.
bro,
Never
are you
mind,
building a
I think.
house?
Back in the day, they were like 50 cents or like 1 rand when we were growing up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maize snacks. It's written knickknacks here.
Ah, every May snack is knickknacks.
Yeah, but
I'm a knickknacks. So any
Yeah.
May snack, I'm a knickknacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then coffee creamer. What's the original term for
Cremo.
coffee creamer? Exactly.
Cremora.
Hey, you and
It's
you
not
know
inside,
them.
it's on top.
Cremora. What's the coffee creamer? I've never had this one.
Yeah,
Ikas,
no,
aye, aye,
no.
aye. And then I'm a cornflakes.
I'm Kellogg's.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
gave it away,
Any-
Mo.
yeah, any-
Because you just gave yourself away. Kusho ukuthi nawe you call them Amakelo.
Any cornflake.
Whether
Amakelo.
it doesn't matter.
The brand.
Ukuthi the
Yeah, what the
brand,
brand is.
you
Amakelogs.
when
I'm a
Amakelo.
Kellogg's.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
It makes sense, man. It makes sense for most of
Little
us.
wheat pigs, kitty Kellogg's.
Yeah.
Then there's Totital. Totital is also known as Flytal, Istamto, or
Yes.
Ringas.
Sweet.
It's a South
Yes.
African language that
Both us.
combines elements of Afrikaans and other languages.
Yeah.
It's primarily spoken men, but women are joining in now.
Yeah.
Hey, very.
Yeah.
Red flag.
You know, this one is very interesting for me, Mo. I'll tell you, TC, I don't know, because, you know, Soweto is so big, and thus
Yeah.
it's the biggest township in South Africa, right? But what I've found in Soweto, there's certain phrases and terms that are associated with certain neighborhoods and townships within the town of
Exactly.
Soweto. So it's very interesting to come across. I'll tell you, Katopsi, I'm a Topsenvillian through and through.
Okay.
All right. So whenever I visit other like how, for instance, I go na lady or I go to Kloof or go Pimville, language ya mo Topsi ya rona ya mo kasi, because
Yeah.
it's very Tswana driven.
Yeah.
Or it's Tswana based mostly, because Dobsonville, arguably so, is predominantly a Tswana populated place.
Okay.
Right. So language ya rona is very influenced by Setswana.
Yeah.
Mara leo wheat ya rona, what people would say is tamtu.
So, yeah.
Wheat, ke wovasi. What kind of so? What is derivatives of Afrikaans, like they said, it's Afrikaans and
Yes.
mixing it with other languages. And also, it's always interesting finding out these terms that are used like from different places within Soweto specifically, you know. And then it becomes even more crazier when you leave the province. You know, you go to an Eastern Cape where the spoken language or the day-to-day language that's spoken most Ratenge is driven by Xhosa. You know, or you go to KZN, it's driven by isiZulu. You know, so very crazy for me, very interesting finding out all of these phrases and terms that are used in different places of the country.
Yeah, and originally developed in the 1940s and 1950s in Sophia Town.
Yes,
so
sir.
the first one, I just want you guys to tell me, Hurricane, 3-5.
All Star, Converse. Yes, sir.
Kanjani.
Ganjani.
Isn't it how are you? Oh,
Kanjani.
hi.
Kanjani.
Hi,
Kanjani.
Kanjani. Oh, ikanjani. Ikanjani is license. Ikanjani. You ikanjani.
Well, here about a ticket. Is it?
I mean, it depends
Take
on
it.
it's context, contextually. So how you would phrase it or how you would use it in a sentence. So you'd say, "Yeah, man, as bengenze nginelenas nyoshaya kanjani."
Oh, okay.
You understand? Or man being speed or being shy moto ndota bankai kanjani. But it's rarely used as a ticket. I think it would depend on where you are and stuff. But in more than most cases, throughout the entirety of South Africa, I think it would be associated with
if someone
going
were
to
to
do
use
a
that
license. Kanjani.
Yeah, no, if someone were to use that one
Yeah.
with me, I'd be
You'd
lost,
be lost
in
with it.
translation.
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
like, yeah.
Yo.
What are you
Kanjani.
talking about? Yeah.
So the other one is Boch.
Ini?
Boch. Ang Boch.
Angboche, to borrow. To borrow.
Boch.
Yeah.
Jeez, guys.
Angboche.
I know, but you can really tell the Afrikaans influence
Yeah,
in
definitely.
in
Yeah.
most
Huge.
slang
It's
in
huge.
Soweto.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in townships, actually,
Yeah.
you can sense, Guti,
Yeah.
like most
Afrikaans
of the
is a
slang,
huge influencer.
Afrikaans influenced slang
Yeah.
very hugely.
Yeah.
Tiger.
10 rands. We spoke about it
Yeah,
last
we
week. I
did.
remember
Really,
Naledi was-
lady.
Yeah.
This is weird. It's very
Slap
weird
tiger.
because the animal on the tiger, on the tiger,
Ooh,
on the 10
Fela.
rand,
Yeah.
you know, it's a rhino.
Yeah.
A whole rhino turned into a tiger.
Yes.
A whole rhino. How?
I don't
Confuse
think, I
the
don't think
enemy.
How?
No, I don't think it was associated with the animal, with the big five.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Tiger.
Because like 20 rands, kind of getting the animal on the 20 rand, I think it's a buffalo or something, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
What
it's a
king?
buffalo
It's a
on the
buffalo.
20
ne?
rand, yeah.
Mara ribitsa choco.
Choco,
You know,
yeah.
but so I don't. Me personally,
Jacket.
I could be.
Victorians are weird.
I could be wrong, and I stand to be corrected. But I don't think it was associated with the big
Nah.
five or the animals that are on our various notes in South Africa. You know, so.
But what's the closely link that you can
I
say?
mean, of
okay,
course,
it
if
came
you
to
think about
tiger.
it and try to rationalize it, you would. Most people would firstly go
10.
towards the big five.
Yes.
You know, because we're referring to it as an animal in itself, get tiger, but
10
we'd have to
tiger.
go, do our research and our homework. Why it's okay,
Yeah.
tiger. But me personally, I don't
Oh,
think it
if
had.
you know, guys, and
Yeah.
vele vele, you know what? When a vele, you are a master of Kasi slang,
Yeah.
and you know, Guti tiger, kahle kahle. How did it come about? Guti?
Yeah.
People started calling it the 10
10
Randy
rand
tiger.
tiger.
Comment and let us know, guys,
Yeah.
on our social media.
Whoever that is,
below.
he
yeah.
messed up, man. He
Aye.
messed up. Tiger.
Yeah.
I mean, with Pretorians, man, calling 20 rand a jacket.
Jacket.
A whole 20 rand note is
jacket.
called a jacket. Rona ribita choco. What?
I mean, it's different, man. All
What?
of these things are derived from somewhere, and when the person came up with it, it was probably it made sense in context
In
and in
that
the moment.
context,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
We must change these things. Angeke. Choco. Ah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, look
yeah.
at the 50 rand. It's associated with the color. Pinkies.
Yeah.
Pinkies.
Pinkies.
Yeah.
It makes sense, man. Okay,
You
the
know,
color of the note. You know,
it's
at least
pink
I
and these are
fit you.
pinkies.
No, from now on, guys, a 10 rand is a rhino.
I
Ankai
know.
rhino,
I know.
da. 20 rand is a buffalo. Ankai buff,
I
da.
mean, Mokopsi, there was a
Guy
time
buff
where
of it.
5 rand was called half tipi.
Yes,
You
they
know?
half
but-
tiger.
Half tiger, half tipi.
Jesus.
Yeah,
So,
oh,
yeah.
half tiger.
Yeah.
This slang-
Yes, le tire. Called
Kopito,
5
yeah.
rand, le tire. What?
Maybe it's because of the shape.
The
and,
shape,
Yeah.
ke le
it's-
tire.
They're associated with.
That
being-
means
yeah.
every coin is ke le tire.
No, but the 5 rand specifically because it has the silver and the gold.
And the
right?
gold,
Yeah,
nkare ke
so-
rimi, so
yes,
le
yeah,
tire.
yeah.
Wow. So lastly, there are words where their antonym and opposites have completely lost their meaning.
Okay.
Okay, good, bad, wait. Okay, if they say you are sick or ill, What is it
Utswemo.
known?
It means you're
You're
dope.
great.
You're
Talented,
great,
right?
man. You're
Yeah.
talented.
And you're
Yeah.
sick, man.
When
The
you're
other one-
wicked,
When you're
Wicked, you're cool.
Yeah, like
You're dope.
You're
You're great.
You have
You're
like
great.
the swag and
Yeah.
you just ooze of cool, man. Yeah.
This one I can't read it, but I'm going to put it in another way. Ne? It's referred obviously to girls, wabo.
Okay.
Ah.
Yeah, so I would say sponono, right?
Okay.
Your koshkanamera, hoshkaramaima. Sponono, yeah,
Oshkaramaima.
because here it's when the amas, you know, I won't read the way.
Ama-ish.
Yeah.
I'm a pass. Kasi lista.
But where you guys are from, how do you describe a beautiful girl?
I get tip into it. I get
Yeah,
I
TB.
get a clap onto it.
Go ka sia go website. Ale le tronkonkoro ri. Ale le mfani tronkorokoko ri.
Get a clap onto it. Yeah, tip into it. I get
Ay. Selina papashe.
What's a archer? What's a
Ale li
archer?
ale li khongo.
Haley Berry.
Ikoronkoko. Ay koronkoko. You know sometimes man with these
It's
languages.
crazy.
Yeah,
So,
man.
yeah, street
Tell us what
language
you
is
think,
crazy.
man, when it comes to lost in translation words. And I have a comment from Banele Mni. Are 20 rand is an elephant.
Oh, it's an elephant.
Yeah.
The animal is not a buffalo.
Yeah, it's not a buffalo.
Oh,
So from now
thank you for
on,
the
guys,
correction.
20 rands is an elephant. Hey boy, I'm guy faint. Guy faint, boy. Stop with these chalk things, man.
Choco.
We look bad to
E
people,
choco
man, because we can't
oksalayo.
explain. If a tourist comes and asks you, why are you calling this thing a chalk? Why is this a chalk?
Explain
Hey,
yourself
Chief, we
in
also
for
don't know.
10 marks.
We grew up.
For
it's
10
being
marks,
called like
explain
that.
why the 20
yeah,
rand
yeah.
is a choco.
Okay,
To a
right now
tourist.
I see a rhino on the note. Why are you calling it tiger?
Yeah.
My ancestors did.
Just call it. Just go with it. Run
No,
with it.
no, no.
Don't ask too many questions. Man. So very interesting one. I actually came across this guy. Bumped into, met this guy last year in September. What's the holiday that's celebrated? Heritage.
Heritage
Yeah.
Day.
That Heritage weekend. This guy made. I think I've spoken about him more. If I'm not, if memory still serves well.
Yeah.
This guy made a slang dictionary.
Oh.
Yeah, so he was showing me and he was trying to sell it to me, you know. We were in a creative, like a space that was, populated by creatives and artists and stuff like that. So, you know, the people come up there and sell different things and they've come up with different things and stuff.
interesting,
Very
yeah.
interesting stuff. So he shows me this thing. So I go through it a bit, like the first 2-3 pages. This is very cool. I tell him it's like a small dictionary, nothing too hectic. But I tell him, "Khore, from reading this, I can tell you are someone who's from Deep Kloof." Not in a bad way. No, not in a bad way. Because I have quite a few friends and I've spent quite some time at DK Orlando. And, you know, I also say, paying attention and is interested in Kasi slang, right? And the reason that happened for me is because from Topsy, a lot of people in Soweto Matita are not really necessarily familiar with slang sa rona sa mo Topsy. Where I would say, we're not like talking wheat or whatever. I would say wheat or the terms and terminology.
Yeah.
Wang understand?
Yeah.
Ke language ya rona mo Topsy. So I've found that, like I said earlier, even in Soweto, a lot of people aren't necessarily familiar with language ya rona mo Topsy ya mo kae. So in spending a lot of time with different people from various places in Soweto, I tell them, this really sounds like someone who got If I can tell with this word, I would not use this word go Topsy necessarily.
Yeah.
Or like Kokona lady go Soweto, where it's quite Sotho populated. They would not necessarily use this term. Yes, we're familiar, we're aware, we know what it means, you know, but it's not a term that someone wakona lady or wakotladi would use, you know. So I told him, it sounds like Motoko Tipkloof, but it was very interesting, you know, and I told him, you should really try and get it out there and make it a thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely, guys. Lost in translation. The conversation does not only stop here. Tell us which words are lost in translation. As it says, guys, lost in translation. I mean, biscuits are called amakuhumba. Come on. I can't be calling biscuits amakuhumba. And then we have KTTUZ Ogletak right there on YouTube. A hot girl in our slang is Leshina and Stwindi. Yeah.
Never. Yo, Stwindi ukarwalwala. Ngiphethe iStwindi. Why you talking about? Gotta get sickness, gotta get virus.
Sounds like a virus,
Chisi, you know,
girl.
uphethwe yini? What you gotta get the virus there's tshwantsho apare body jacket. O tsamaye so slow. Ngiphethe iStwindi ntwana.
I don't know,
Not
is
like that.
Stwindi, boy. Alingos is twindy, boy. Oh, Sisi, who is twindy? I was
sounds wrong.
twindy.
It
It
really
sounds
do
wrong.
be
We're
sounding like you
streaming.
insulting me instead of complimenting
Exactly.
me, though.
Ukarwalwala.
Like some of this slang, guys.
It's
Hey,
crazy,
some of the
man.
slang from your cassis, but rep your hood, man.
Yeah,
Let
yeah,
us know,
yeah.
Guti, what is the most popular slang in
Yes.
your cassi and what does it mean and how can it be lost in translation?
Yes.
Because some of these slangs, man, got me
Crazy.
discombobulated.
It's
I don't know what you guys are saying to me.
19 minutes past 9, you're still watching the Vooka Breakfast Show. As promised that we have a guest lined up for you. Right now, what you're going to do is to introduce our next guest as we go to a break. Emmanuel Carney for the business blog is here to
sir.
share more information with you. So stay tuned, stay with us, and post those questions using the hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show. Right now, let's get you prepped with your weather forecast.
Welcome back, Ngwana Ko Gae. You're still hanging out with me, the one and only MOOCEE Mr. My name is Musi Mr. and this is the Vooka Breakfast Show brought to you by the Blinko Network. So if you've just tuned in and you've just walked in, you're not too late, I promise you. You have missed quite a few things, as you know, since we have started in the morning, but there's still quite a few things to go through this morning. Right now on the table, I'm joined by the one and only Afri Berry Blaze, and for our business blog, when we're discussing all things business, we're joined by entrepreneur Emmanuel Khan. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
That's correct.
I'll tell you, my brother, the reason I'm asking that is that I'm very mindful and wary of people's names and people's pronunciation when it comes to their names. Now, just before you get here, we were with another guest for Monday Motivation, and I was explaining to him that my name is Musi, and it's spelled MUSI. But a lot of people mispronounce it and misspell it and say Musi. Okay. With MUSI, and the two mean completely different things. They are not related whatsoever. So having gone through that, you know, for most of my life, I always try and make sure that I spell and pronounce people's names correctly. So thank you so much for coming through. Welcome.
Well, thank you for the invite.
Yes, sir. Afri Berry, how are you doing? Are you cool?
Hey, Musi, me, I'm doing okay. I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah.
It's yet another beautiful and amazing Monday. The
Absolutely.
second Monday of March. And we are still here, still with you guys, celebrating a whole new, brand new month. And don't forget that the theme for this month is what? Human rights,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Because we have Human Rights Day also coming up on the 21st. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Today we're about to talk about business and entrepreneurship.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mr. Emmanuel, without any further waste of time, welcome. Like I said, once again, we really appreciate you taking the time to come and hang out with us. It doesn't go unrecognized. So, business, let's get into it. What is the first thing that one would think of when we mention or we say the word business?
Passion.
Passion.
I'll go for passion.
I see you.
I mean, people will go for business because they're looking for money. And most of the time they will fail because the main thing is money.
Yes, sir.
If you put your passion first, then you will always get to success because you do what you like to do.
Yes, sir. I see. So that's how you would firstly describe it, I guess. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So how did you get into, I think maybe this is the first place where we should start. How did you, as Emmanuel, get into the space of wanting to, teach and be an entrepreneur yourself and share the knowledge that you've acquired over the years as a businessman and as an entrepreneur, essentially?
I would say it's a family thing. Like, I've seen my dad go into business quite early. He have struggled a lot in the beginning, and then looking at him like failing and trying again until he get to the point he wanted, really get like give me that feeling of, oh, I can do that.
I see. I see.
And then you always look up to your dad somehow.
Yes,
And then
yes.
they become your first competition. Oh, you did it like you had 5 on 10. I'm going to be 7 on 10.
I see. I'm going to do it bigger and better than you.
Bigger and better.
I love how you reference your dad firstly. Because I think as young boys, Afriberry, and I could be wrong, I stand to be corrected. But I think as young boys, our dads are our first reference of like what a man is, and we always aspire to become like our dads and become bigger and better. And, I guess our dads are like the benchmark for us.
Yeah.
That someday I would want to be like my dad.
I'll
And
be bigger than him.
yes, and be better than him, essentially, So I love how you reference that. So did you initially growing up as a young boy, grow up in a very business oriented family? Or was it just your dad, perhaps, who's the one who was the businessman, I guess?
No, my granddad was also a businessman, but I didn't get a chance to see that.
Oh, I see.
So I only witnessed my father going into business, but I never had the chance to see my granddad going into it.
I see.
So for me, it was like my dad is. How can I say that without getting beaten by him later
Yes.
on? My dad is a hard guy, right? So he never gave me like pocket money or anything like that. It was always about you earn what you want. So I grew up like doing small jobs at home. Like it's gonna be like you wash the dishes, you're gonna get your $20. You know.
I
so
see.
that's how I learned that. And I try to do that with my kids. I better like, well, you're working for us, so we don't have to do it. So have to find a way to do it with them as well.
I see. But that's how you essentially firstly got introduced into the the space of business and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So, but do you feel like it's something that ignited the love and the passion to go in the space of business and entrepreneurship, or was it a thing that you always had initially, even outside and away from what you witnessed growing up from your dad?
No, I would say what I did is like I've studied in South Africa before.
Okay.
So I studied in Boston City campus.
Oh, Boston City campus.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I did my internship like in a restaurant, and I really fell in love with that job, and that's how it got into me. Like, no, I got to have my restaurant one day, right?
Yes, sir.
So going from one place to one place, you meet different people, especially in the restaurant world, where you're gonna meet different customers, and they're gonna talk to you about what they do. And so I met this lady, Andrea Brown. And she's the one who taught me everything, actually, not my dad. She's the one who taught me everything.
Oh, I see.
So I met her here. So I had to come to South Africa because, everything I know was learned in South Africa.
I see. Such amazing stuff. Everybody, I'll tell you, I always find it very interesting, learning about people's stories and how they got introduced in the different spaces that they are working in and they are involved in, essentially. So I always find all of those stories very, very interesting and fascinating, really getting to know where an Afriberry comes from and how she got introduced to the space of broadcasting and radio and TV and all of those things, and how a Emmanuel was introduced to the space of business and entrepreneurship, and also very fascinating traveling between, countries and borders. I love that. Everybody, is there anything on your side?
So Emmanuel, I wanted to know that since you started what can I call it? Your journey as an entrepreneur into
Yes.
the world of business. What was the main reason that kept you going throughout, for example, COVID that we had? And what is the biggest risk that you've ever had to make in the world of business? And was it worth it? And is it still paying off even right now?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned COVID because I got into entrepreneurship because of COVID. So I was locked down at home with the kids, and then they were getting on my nerves, and then I keep on locking myself in my room, like reading, and then I was like, oh, let me try something. So I started with a business magazine. It was an online magazine called Triumph. I started with that, and then it helped me meet people. It helped me discover different fields in the business world, and then Triumph got me back in.
Oh.
So I would say COVID was a blessing for me, I would say.
Okay, so what is the biggest risk that you've taken in terms of business decisions wise? And is the risk that you took still currently paying off?
Well, my kid will say, your business took you away from us.
Ah.
Because, you have to choose, like, you can't go into business and expect, like, I'm going to do a 5 to 9.
Oh, yes.
You can't do that.
Yes, sir.
You don't have your own timing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you feel like it's an unending, and it's very interesting that you say that. Do you feel like it's a job that one never really knocks off? When you have your conventional 9 to 5, where one would go into the office, clock in at 9.
The 9
right?
to 5 will be a job. Like, that's why I was saying passion before. You never get off your passion.
Yes, that's what I was about to ask.
Your
Yeah.
passion live with you.
Yes.
You go sleep with your passion, you wake up
You
with
wake
your
up with
passion.
it.
So.
Man. But do you perhaps maybe feel like it also hinders certain aspects of your personal life now, where over the weekend you can be trying to spend time with family and with kids and with your wife and your friends and just relax, and then a call comes in or a text comes in on WhatsApp saying, Emmanuel, we need this, that, and the other. Emmanuel, something happened, it needs your attention. Do you feel like it hinders and it plays a role in terms of affecting your personal life away from the business?
I would say it's a choice, right?
Ah.
It's a choice. Like, for the moment, I told myself, I'm going to give it all and make sure I reach what I want to reach. So there's no wife in my life. She couldn't take it anymore.
I see.
You're going to be gone for 3 months and then forget about them for 3 months. Like, I haven't seen my kid. I came back in South Africa in September. That's when we met.
Okay.
Yeah, you came back in September,
I came
then
back
you
in September.
left again.
Yeah, in
You came
January.
back again last week, actually.
So
Yeah.
for all this time, I didn't see my kids because I live in Belgium. So,
wow.
So I had to make a choice to, like, how can I put it? Like, for me, South Africa is home, if I can say it this way. Everything I know about business, I learned in South Africa, right? And my memories, like my friends are in South Africa. But then you don't get a chance to meet them because you have to choose between I have fun now or I work for the next 10 years and then I can enjoy myself. And I decided I'm going to work first and then the rest will, fun will always be there. Fun will always be there. My friends will understand me and my family will understand that it needs that.
I see you. Talk to me, Mr. Emmanuel. You're an entrepreneur. You're someone who started being in the space of business from a very young and early age, right? What are some of the things, or what are the qualities that you would say are great leadership qualities that one would need for someone who's watching there at home and listening and is perhaps saying, you know what, one day I'd like to find myself in the business space. I would want to one day be an entrepreneur myself. What are the things that I need or the qualities that I would need to have and acquire to become a successful and great leader in the business and entrepreneurship space?
I won't say, like, I always come back to passion.
Okay.
I won't say qualities because if I take, I don't know, Elon Musk and I compare him to Bill Gates or to Steve Jobs, they're different people, right? Different qualities. But when you work with passion, when you, like, let's say you're broadcasting, right?
Yes.
And you do it because you love it. So nobody can come and tell you, oh, you need this quality or this quality or this quality. Just be you and bring you into the business. Don't try to look at somebody else and be, okay, I'm going to be this kind of leader or this kind of leader. I don't want to be like my dad. I want to be better than him. If I copy what he does, I'm going to be just like him. So you have to define what you want to give to the business you're going into.
But then we just had a gentleman here who's a motivational speaker, right, and studies, human behavior and psychology and philosophy. And they would say to an Afriperi, you want to go into entrepreneurship? I would suggest or advise you look up or you read up about Emmanuel Kani, right? Look at how he started and read up on some of the things that he's ventured into.
I don't do that.
So is that something that you would not advise other upcoming business people and entrepreneurs to go into?
I can understand that people will do it.
Okay.
I mean, if I go into the restaurant business, I'll look at other business like a restaurant business.
Yes, sir.
But I don't look at the people in the restaurant business, right? Because we are all affected by our emotions, by what we've been through. This is how we work. Like, okay, I've been through this and through this, therefore I'm going to do that. But then if I look at you and I'm like, okay, let's do the same thing. And if we do everything the same way, well, why don't we work together then? So now I would be like, learn what you want to do. Like, you're passionate about broadcasting, learn about broadcasting, not about broadcaster.
Very interesting. I love that. So you learn about the space, but not specific people.
No.
I love that.
That's a beautiful saying, because I remember I once said something on the station that as much as you may go to people to look for motivation, but if you yourself fail to motivate yourself, then there's nothing that anybody else can do. Because when you wake up, you are your biggest motivator. You are your hugest success. Nobody can tell your story like you. So trying to be like somebody else is not something that will always be great. So Mr. Kani, can you tell me, how do you prioritize your different tasks within your business? And by the way, how many businesses do you have, by the way? Because I think it's more than one, if I'm correct.
You're going to expose me now.
Okay, you don't have to answer that one now.
Yeah.
No, we can. How do I prioritize it? Like, I will say I only do what I love doing.
Okay.
And what speaks to me is what I will do. Like, you can come to me as a customer and tell me, because what I do mostly is help people do better with the business, right? So you can come to me and tell me, well, I'm into the broadcasting and I want to do better. And then somebody else will come to me and will be like, okay, I want to do car wash, right? I'm going to have to try to listen to why you want to do car wash and why you want to do better in the broadcasting. And then my priority will go to what touches me the most. Like, I only work with passion, not for the income, or I work for passion. I know the income will follow.
So basically, you prioritize the task that has the biggest passion, that is mostly affiliated with you.
When I wake up in the morning, what do I think about? What talks to me? And then,
I love that. I love, you're one of the few, if perhaps arguably, debatably, the only person who's ever, mentioned that passion is their motivator and their driver.
That's what worked for me.
Thus, I say I love it. I love that so much, because I'm me myself. I'm someone who's very, very, very big and huge on passion. A whole lot of the things, maybe even arguably all of the things that I'm involved in, the spaces that I work in and I'm involved in, I'm driven by passion. I am absolutely, completely driven by passion, because I feel like, and I could be wrong, it could be different for some.
Absolutely, because you're passionate about what you do, we can feel it here.
It can be different for someone else. Someone else, Afriperi, I can describe it very differently. I'm one of those people who says, or who believes that with all the things that you want to achieve and the spaces you want to work in and be involved in, you should be passionate about it. Because for me, with a lack of passion, later on, how do I put it? It brings about resentment. Because now chances are you would have gone into that space for the sake of, circumstance or whatever. It could be circumstance. It could be, I couldn't do that. Let me just do this for the, and there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people in life, even now in this day
Settle
and age,
for what they can.
For different contributing factors and variables, right? And we can't blame people for doing whatever they are not or might not have necessarily have been passionate about. But for me personally, I always teach and have passion at the forefront, man. If you're passionate about it, you're going to put effort into it. And it essentially, I feel it would breed about success, man. So I love that. I love that so much.
Well, think about it this way.
Yes,
right?
sir.
We all had a job that we didn't like at all, right? When you go to bed thinking about what you're going to do the next day, if you're going to bed like, oh, shit, sorry, I don't know if I can curse. I curse a lot.
No worries. You're good. Don't worry.
So if you go to bed like, oh, shit, tomorrow morning I have to wake up and go meet those people and see those people again that I don't want to see, most of the things that you're going to be doing the following, they will be like heavy on you, right? And think about doing that for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. I don't see myself doing that. I want to be smiling every time I'm working. You know, I want to work with a smile. I want to go to bed like, oh, I got to wake up tomorrow morning and go do this, you know?
I see that. So, would you also tell me something? What is your unique selling proposition when it comes to, okay, what can you give advice? How can you advise fellow entrepreneurs on how to have a unique selling proposition, especially when they're trying to go outside into the world of business? Because let's be honest, right now we have people opening up the same business or the same business
Yes,
idea,
absolutely.
and
Yes.
then finding your unique selling point makes it hard. So what do you think a person could do to have that unique selling point in the business that makes them stand out more than anyone who's also in the same sector?
Well, I will say be you. They can't be to me. They can't be to you, right? If I can come to you and bring my best version, nobody can copy that. You can copy my business, but you can't copy me.
No, that's very true.
You know? So it's like we all been to nightclubs and gonna see this good nightclub, good-looking nightclub, but empty. Because
Yes.
why? Because what you're giving me that nobody else can give me.
Yes.
You have to bring me you. You have to make sure that, well, I'm more interested by what you're offering than what the place looks like, because I can fill it up with anything.
Yes. With that being said, I love that, and I love how you say we might do the same thing and be in the same space, or selling the same product or offering the same service, but there's certain things that will distinguish between the two of us. Very small minor details. Then, with that being said, how do you then go into marketing and advertising now? Right, and trying to stand out and play at a very competitive level, right? And some of the strategies that you would use, perhaps even as Emmanuel in your own businesses that you run, the advertising and marketing spaces. Because we always say this: I want to advertise. I have to market myself as an artist or as whatever. How do you navigate that space of marketing and advertisers and advertising?
Yeah, well, what I do is like I look at who I want to talk to. Right? If I want to talk to kids, I'm not going to advertise like I'm going to advertise for grown-ups.
Ah, yes.
You see?
Yes.
So you have to understand who you're talking to. You have to understand everybody's need, like the kids' needs. I will say I'm building a phone, right? And I know kids like to go onto social medias and things like that. I'll put that in front. But if I'm doing I don't know, try for my accent. If I'm doing something for you,
okay,
I'll have to go more business-wise. Okay, for a podcast, what do I need in this phone to make the podcast life easier? What do I need? You see?
Yes.
You have to identify the need of the person. Sometimes you don't know, the customer doesn't know what he needs.
Yes, yes. I've heard that. I've heard a lot of business people saying, sometimes the customer does not know what they need in the moment. And me as a business person should give them what they don't know that they need. I love that. Africa, do you have anything else?
So I just want to know, how do you prioritize your investments when it comes to people investing into your business? How do you spot which one will be the best suitable investment for your business?
I don't take people investment for my business.
You don't think?
I don't take people investment for my business.
You don't take people's investments in your business?
Like, no, I won't say that. I will say, when you take people investment, you owe them something.
Yeah, that's true.
They can come and affect your vision.
Oh, yeah.
You have the vision of what you want to do, right? If it's going to take 5 years to do it by yourself and 2 years to do it with somebody else, but they're going to come and change your vision, do it by yourself. Take time.
I guess sometimes ke solofela gore la utla go gae gore mo gongwe tshwantse bo ile gore wena ya ka motho o kgone go tshepa mo le kgonong la go gore wena o kgone go itirela o le esi, because sometimes looking for an investor, as much as we all need investors to start up a business, but the one thing that you should be cautious about is the fact that when you do find an investor, there's not somebody that's going to twist your vision and mission and turn it into something that utterly changes what you want to reach out as a person. So investment wise, be cautious when you go out there. Make sure that the people that even invest in your company, I love that,
Africa. I love that because you're very correct in that. When more people start coming into your business or just the space that you want to navigate in and the things that you want to achieve, can change the narrative and shift the vision and where you would have wanted to see it grow into, or how you would have wanted to see it grow to.
I don't know if you heard about it.
Yes.
Steve Jobs got kicked out of his own company.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, I've heard that.
Because
yes.
he got investors.
Yes.
So they will come in, they will say, okay, the way you're doing your thing doesn't suit us. But
Yeah.
you came first because you liked what I was doing.
Yes.
Now, when you come with the money, you're like, okay, because I'm putting my money on the table, I got
I
something.
want to change this, that, and the other. Yeah, I love that. I love that, and you're very correct, Africa, in saying people should be very cautious about that. But with that being said, saying you personally are not someone who, necessarily likes having people investing in your business. How do you then, navigate or handle rejection and successes in your businesses? Because we know with business, there comes a lot of rejection. There's going to be times that an upcoming businesswoman, a man out there, is listening to a manual kind of who's been doing it for years, but has not necessarily faced rejection. How do you handle that? Because there'll be fails and fails and fails before really getting to a place where you can safely say, now I'm starting to succeed now.
It's like a relationship. Right? You and I growing up, we went to girls like proposing and we got a lot of rejection. I take it the same way, right? I will come to you and you will say no. Well, it's not the end of the day. You saying no is teaching me something. Why did he say no? What was wrong with the way I came to him that he said no? Same thing with the woman. I came to that woman, I wanted to take her to this place and she said no. Why did she say no? I have to understand that, right? So rejection is something that my mom always say, when you do something, a no is a guarantee. You have to change that into a yes. So you start knowing that it's already a no. It's my job to change that no into a yes.
Yes.
So even if you say no, I'm like, okay, I already knew it was going to be that. And then if you say yes, I'm like, okay, I did some good job. Right?
I love it. I love it.
That.
I love it. I love
that was
it.
actually beautiful. Hey?
Yeah. Anything else from you before we wrap up?
Okay,
Afriberry?
so just before we wrap up, how do you ensure transparency and accountability in your business, especially when it comes to like your employees and stuff?
A good one, I think.
I don't have employees. I have partners.
Okay, with your partners standing back.
I'll tell you why I say I don't have employees, I have partners. If people work for you, it's like having a job. You wake up in the morning, you have to go do this for this guy.
They lose the passion.
But if you wake up like, oh, I'm part of this, it's also mine. Let's go into that. Like I always tell people, we started a new company and I was like, okay, it's an event company, right? And I told anybody that works with me, you take a percentage of any project you work in. There's no salary. You take a percentage so that when you and I were sitting, it's like two partners talking. You don't feel like, oh, I'm talking to my boss. I can't tell him I'm not happy about this. I can't tell him I don't like that. So yeah.
Oh, so I guess the guys that transparency is also very important in the world of business.
Definitely.
That's how we build bridges instead of burning them.
Yes.
So learn to be transparent with the people that work for you or the people that you work with. And being a friendly boss does not necessarily mean that your employees will take advantage of you, but it also means that you have a certain
we will never finish.
It's always about taking advantage, right? There's no reason for me to come here if you don't want to take advantage of what I know. Right? And there was no reason for me to come here if I didn't want to learn more about what you also do. Like, the reason for me to come here was not only just to be on radio or to be on a show, was also to learn about, okay, how does it go? How do they do that?
I love it. I love it. I feel like, with all of the amazing guests that we have here, Afriberry, we had earlier Osvaldo, right? And now we're having Emmanuel. People who are very knowledgeable and informed in different various spaces, in society. And I feel like we never have enough time. We never have enough time. So we need to have you back, Emmanuel. If you would please do us the favor sometime, we'll reach out to you, of course, and ask you to come back. Because I feel like there's more to explore and learn and exchange, and give back and share this knowledge and information that you guys have acquired over the years and stuff like that. But with that being said, we'd really love you to come back because we didn't have enough time to get into various other things.
It will be such a pleasure. I think that I have a lot of things to learn.
Yes, definitely. And I feel like you have a very different perspective and approach to the space of entrepreneurship and business and the business world, from the business, other business people that we've met in the space and the ones that we've had in the space, So it would be very amazing to have you back and share more of the knowledge and information that you have acquired over the years. This was us sharing all things business on a Monday morning. Myself and everybody were hanging out with Emmanuel Kani, a businessman who is bouncing between South Africa and Belgium.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I only go to Belgium to see the family.
Oh, I see.
Otherwise, South Africa is like...
Is home.
I will tell you this. I've learned everything in South Africa.
In South Africa, like you mentioned.
It's time to give back, right?
Yes, sir.
I work there, and then I want to come back and be part of South Africa
Yes.
development.
I love it. So that was us hanging out with Emmanuel Kano. Of course, like I just said, I am asking him that on another Monday, it would be great to have him in the space, sharing all this information and knowledge that he's acquired over the years. But without any further waste of time, myself and Afriberry and Emmanuel are going to take a very quick break, grab a glass of water, a cup of coffee, run to the loo very quickly, and you and I will see each other after the break. After the break, we will be hanging out with Sandani Rachi Lumela. Of course, he will be the mover and the shaker for this Monday morning, because that's what we do on a Monday morning. We give you all things business. We give you all things Monday motivation, and of course, people who are doing amazing stuff in our communities. And he will be sharing his story of where he comes from, where he is right now, and where he's possibly moving into the near future. But with that being said, let's see each other after the break. Cool stuff.
All right, 8 minutes until we hit 10 o'clock, and you're still watching the Vooka Breakfast Show. That was that Mr. Emmanuel Kani, an entrepreneur and a well-known businessman right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show. If you have any question, do make sure that you post them using the hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show. So what we're going to do right now is to move on to the next segment with Mr. Sandani Rachi Lumela. As Musi said, we're going to be introducing him right now, but I'm still going to urge you guys to make sure to use the hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show on each and every social media platform. And if you want us, do make sure that you search Vooka Breakfast Show on each and every social media platform. As we promised that we have an interesting lined up guest for you for this Monday. It's Monday motivation. What is Monday without inspiring words and inspiring motivation? Because what Mr. Osvaldo said, he said, motivation is nothing without inspiration.
Definitely more.
So what is inspiration behind your motivation? Right now on the Movers and Shakers, we have Mr. Sandani Rachi Lumela. Good morning, sir, and how are you doing this morning?
Oh, thank you so much for joining you guys and to all the listeners as well.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah. No. We really appreciate you taking the time. I'll tell you, Mr. Sandani, Mo knows, man. We never take the people who come and join us in the space for granted.
Sure.
You know, taking the time out of your life to come and hang out with us and spend some time with us and share the knowledge and information and education that you have, man. I personally never take it for granted because when we, like I said right now before the break with Emmanuel, and you were listening, is that whenever we have people in the space, it's always great to hear their perspectives, you know, and hear their stories and where they come from and all the things that they've gone through to get to where they are in the spaces that they're involved in. I can't wait to get into your story and hear what Usandani is about. I don't know about you, Mo.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait. Without wasting any time, Mr. Sandani, obviously we have a bit of what you do, but for someone who is watching, please let them know who is Sandani Rachilumela and what line of work does he do?
Thank you so much. I'm going to be just going a bit quicker.
Yes, sir.
But just to summarize it.
Yes, sir.
I heard earlier on when I was listening, you were talking the languages, how do the other locations,
Yes.
Naledi. I grew up in Dobsonville, I must say this.
Yes.
It's like back of my hands, Dobsonville.
Yes.
I know Dobsonville. I grew up in Pepe Tomen Road.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tatezako, that's where I've started.
Okay.
And then I've moved around the riots, about 84, 85. I went home, Venda, and then that's why I finished the rest.
Your rest of your schooling life.
Yes,
yes,
then
sir.
I moved and then done my tertiary, Pitora-wise, what it used to be TNT, now it's TUT.
TUT, yes, sir.
Yes, of course. I was doing journalism.
Okay.
Oh.
So I did journalism, I finished journalism. 1997, I've started at the Voice of Soweto. I've started, I remember. It was in
It wasn't
Joburg.
Val at the time.
No, it was in Joburg.
In Joburg, okay.
Yeah, Delvas and Maine, if I will think. Yeah,
Okay.
if I'm going in Strat, yeah. So radio was always been my thing.
I see.
You know, passion because of, I remember when I was doing what you call grade 11, I was already secretary of the SRC.
I see.
Then moved to grade 12, I was the president of SRC.
I see.
I went first year, second year, I was still the guys because that we used to school, then we went to the same tertiary. They influenced me to say, join this SRC here, we'll need to have you. Then I went again, I became a deputy president in the second year of my tertiary.
Of tertiary, yes.
Last year, I was the president of SRC. So even when I completed my BTech, and then I was doing still in the same. So radio was always, then we started to launch the campus radio. And then I moved in there, and as I said, I joined the Voice of Soweto, but I didn't stay long there in the Voice of Soweto.
Okay.
I moved, and then I come and joined what we used to be called the SCR, that's Soweto Community Radio Station. That today we are talking Josie FM.
Josie FM.
So where I stayed years and years. So I was more in the news department. I was used to do the show there. I remember one of the popular people that you'll know, not exactly like popular, but the people that you'll know when I'm talking about. I'm talking about the late Okabzela.
Kabzela. I was thinking of him right now.
I
was thinking of him.
I'm talking about the Donald Duck. I'm talking about the Paul Root Boy. I'm talking
Root
about
Boy, yes.
I'm talking about Dabonom Zamu Kumalo, the late. I'm talking about Penny Libiane.
Yes.
The Bondon Tulis, Mapaseka Mukwili today.
Yes, those are the people
You know?
from knowledge, because my brother is also someone who's been involved in radio for quite some time, for years and years. And now you're mentioning these names. These are people from a young age I can remember are the ones who start or like were the foundation of what Josie FM is today.
Yes. So moving out and then joined the other commercial radio stations, joined one of the broadcasters, so SABC. But now, remember, as time goes on, you are learning. I liked what Emmanuel was saying earlier on.
Yes.
That you go out there, you get experience, you come back. And plow it back. Then that's when we said, you know what, let's put from the walk of life on this radio, let's put together our knowledge. And then we formed one of the online radio station.
Yes, sir.
Then we did the publications that we are running currently, about 6 publications. We are a community newsroom. Because of love of the community, I've got a passion with the community. I've got a passion. And then about 5 years back, when COVID started to hit, because it was January 2020.
Yes.
Then only 5 kids I started with. Then to plow back, you'll buy the school shoes, because I believe that I can't buy a Nike shoe, so say. So that in December because it's Christmas, excitement, which is good. But think about a pair of school shoes that we need that young man or that young woman tomorrow to be one of the future leaders. Can't go with the same shoe that was wearing, that sneaker that was wearing. So now, and again, the kids, they need to be in the same uniform. Remember, when you go or you present every time, I always say this, when you present, both of us, we are presenting today,
yes, sir.
Then people, audience that are watching us, that is in the classroom. I'm giving a form in a classroom.
Yes, sir.
Let's say we do it at a station all days.
Yeah.
People, they will always concentrate, or some learners, they will concentrate to the one that is wearing a full uniform, even if it's not making sense.
Yes, even if the learner does not give like
exactly.
proper information.
But the one that
stuff,
doesn't have, that is not in a uniform, she's not in a uniform. If she is making sense, but it doesn't put an impact. It always
doesn't stick.
It doesn't stick. You understand? But image, it always sticks because you go out there more. People, when you go out there and say Vooka Breakfast Show, one, it has to talk to me. As I walked in here, and then I looked at the guys, and then I said, "This is." I was just chatting with my business partner.
Yes, sir.
This is a proper radio station. I must congratulate you.
Yes, thank you. We try. We really try.
Yeah, really. But just to fast track things, is that I started. When I started, some colleagues, they heard that this is what I'm doing. 5 kids. The following year, I did about 23 kids. Then I was joined by some of the colleagues at work while we were still on the radio.
Yes.
Then we moved. Up until today, I'm telling you that today we are national. Our campaign, our first allocation, normally we'll do it in January, boom, give the kids. But last year we sat down and said, let's start our back to school campaign early. We started on the 1st of December until 28th of Feb.
Okay.
But we've decided that let's rather start to allocate from the 26th of Feb. The reason being, remember we are doing it nationally now.
Yes.
When we are doing it nationally, we said, okay, let's sit down. Then we start to look which schools. Then I said, we must always go back home. I mean, charity begins at home.
Definitely.
I started at Dobsonville.
Yes.
At Sinyamo Primary School.
Yes.
In
I see Sinyamo, yes.
Then the next thing, what I got last week is phone calls. We are in a front page.
Wow.
And it's like God is doing amazing things.
Yeah.
We are trying to make a difference as much as we can. We are going nationally. We are supposed to do Kagiso tomorrow. We'll go East Rand. We'll go even Eastern Cape because we've done Eastern Cape before. But Eastern Cape gave us a call last day to say, can you please just help again?
Yeah.
I love it. You've shared so much. You've shared so much. The one thing I'll tell you, and I recognize the bias in the thing that I'm about to say. Like I said earlier, when I was talking about languages and things of that sort, I'm a Dobsonvillian through and through.
Yeah.
My mother went to school, Moludirile. My grandmother is from right here on Dobsonville. And it's very funny when I always tell people, I'm not someone who grew up I am a Kai. From my great grandmother, my mother's grandmother, but of course it wasn't in Soweto because back then apartheid and stuff. So I'm a Dobsonvillian through and through. When settlement started happening and Soweto was established, they moved to Dobsonville.
Yes.
So my mother grew up in Dobsonville, I grew up in Dobsonville, and chances are my kids will also have ties to Dobsonville. So I always love, and I'm crazy about success stories and people doing amazing stuff in the community.
True.
And people coming from Kasiaka, from Dobsonville, hearing things like you have a newsroom, a community newsroom that's national, but it was birthed in Dobsonville. It's a huge thing for me. It's
very,
a huge
very
thing.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Another question that I want to ask, because you do mostly community work,
Absolutely.
right? So I just want to ask in terms of what impact does community work does on the people who stay in the community?
I mean, it also, I think it changes, not even thinking, it changes lives automatically. It changes lives because I once said when I was talking the other day to say, I'm not expecting you to come and say, I want to be part of you guys, what you are doing, then I don't have this, I don't have this.
Yeah.
Just to come and be part. Let's say, for instance, we're doing a school allocation. You just come and assist us to give the kids those pair of school shoes. And also we are urging the business people to come around. Let's make a difference. One pair then you make a difference.
Makes a difference, definitely.
To that one child.
Definitely.
Because tomorrow becomes a doctor. Tomorrow becomes a teacher. Tomorrow becomes, come and be a radio personality, a presenter. Then those are the kind of things. Just in that impact, just to change lives in our community.
Yeah.
Because sharing, I always see, my daughter was saying yesterday, sharing is always caring, which I believe on that. But the more, a sharing, let it be a principle.
Yes.
When you wake up in the morning, I just liked it even when you were talking about it earlier on to say, when you wake up, you must always think. My day always starts at 3 a.m.
Yes.
For a reason that I'm preparing. I write what I want to, I need to do.
achieve throughout the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
And I always say 6 to 9, I'm busy with this. And then 9 going forward, you'll never find me, you'll never touch me.
Yeah.
Invitations left, right, and center. I have to do coverage, I have to do the reporting stuff. And then by the time it comes 10 o'clock, I'm tired. But I've dedicated myself, and I just said 3 a.m. every day, let it be my time.
But let me ask you then, when you tell me that you started go Tatezako, right?
Yes.
You started go Tatezako, moved back home in Venda to finish your schooling, went to TUT and started. How does the passion now of community-based work come from, or where does it come from, and how do you then get into the space of broadcasting, radio, and eventually finding yourself developing a community newsroom that's now on a national level? How does all of that come about?
As I said, a passion is very important. I was also listening to Emmanuel. When you got a passion, and I've made a promise to myself as I grew up. Emmanuel, you will think about back home those days. You see, go to school barefooted. But I've made a promise to myself to say, when I grew up, if things they do come right, I want to make a difference. I don't want to see any kid going to school without. That is why it's so touched. I know some of them, they will say the parents, they are getting grant. I said to the people that I work with, I'm less interested. I don't want to hear that. Don't tell me. If at school we allocate the school, then at school they come and say, we've got 15 kids, we've got 20 kids that they need help. Let's just help without any. Don't think. Don't bring.
Without any ties to it.
Don't bring any politics. But they might be getting grant. They might be getting grant, but they cannot afford to get
school shoes. Yes.
So if you come and make a difference, then that's it. In terms of the radio, as I was saying, and you know what we used to do, the funny thing?
Yes.
When we were sitting in a cafeteria, I remember sometime, you'll remember Ashifa Shaba.
Yes, Shaba, yes.
We'll pull, in tertiary those days, if you've got like your grocery will be like the tin stuff.
Okay. Yes.
Then we'll pull one of the tins. Then you that side, and then I'll sit this side. Then we'll.
And we could communicate and hear each other. Yes, I remember with the strings.
With the strings.
Yes.
That's how it started. And then when I started to go live on my first day, as I was behind the mic, I remember in this holiday of the 24th of September.
Yeah.
Then I was given a chance to read the news, and I can tell you, I read the news in Venda better than if I read in English.
And that's how you got into like the space of broadcasting and radio.
I never looked back.
I love it.
And then we had a show that it used to be very popular. We used to call it the Night Crawlers Show.
The Night Crawlers Show.
That's where the listenership, it went just, listenership was quite big because we will cover, that was Voice of Soweto, we'll cover also as far as Motlaking, Randfontein.
Wow. The Deep West Rand.
Yeah, the Deep West Rand. Then I was called again for an old advert of Aquafresh, just to do a voiceover.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we'll do, because we used to compete. There was you'll remember in Big Black, Bondontuli.
Okay.
Then used to do a show on Saturdays between 6 to 9 evening.
Okay, in the morning.
In the evening.
Or in the evening.
Remember, I will do a jam shack, 6 a.m. to 9, together with the Zekta Kill, and then Paul joined. Root Boy.
Yes.
Then evening, I'm coming back again for that show, 9 to 12. So all the boys were from DK, where everything is always okay. That's where the thing started off, at DK, where everything is always okay. Next to Espaza, Southgate. That was Bondo.
I love it.
Definitely.
I love it.
You know, Mr. Sandani, the work that you do is very beautiful, and would like you to continue, because there's this, passage from Mpoko Lopane's book, Power Tip of the Day. The strong help the weak and mend the broken. So the question that I want to ask you right now is, what are some of the challenges that you have come across by doing the work in the community that you're doing, especially trying to help those who are from, poor backgrounds, who are disadvantaged at most?
One of the challenges that I can tell is being, I don't know if you call it to be ignorant of the community, because you will ask that in one of the publications, when I was interviewed, I said, we'd like to just help us to identify those kids. We'll come and make a difference. But we have to struggle. I promise you, you have to struggle. We'll go and ask, and then they will promise. How many schools I've asked the list? I've never, even today I'm sitting here, I'm still waiting for a list, and we are moving, remember. And then now, who's suffering?
The kids, yeah.
And then you go and talk to the principal. That's why we are urging also to the principal to say, please just cooperate with us. When we arrive there, please just say, if we ask for 10 kids, please do that. I don't like procrastination. That's not me. Whoever works with me, I don't like someone who says, I will do it tomorrow. Yeah. Where I learned that from my granddad. My granddad used to say, don't say, do it now. Yeah, do it now.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's me. I don't pack a work. I would rather don't sleep.
Yes.
That's me.
And want to finish it.
I want to finish.
I love that.
I don't want to pack away.
What you're saying right now sparks a conversation we have usually on Thursdays when we talk about productivity hacks and how you can try and use certain things to get more done throughout your day. And one of the things we've spoken about, Mo and myself, is the 5-minute rule.
Yes.
And the 5-minute rule is very associated to what you're saying.
Oh, yes.
If you can get it done in 5 minutes, do it there and then. Don't waste time. Don't procrastinate and say, I'll do it later. If you can do it in 5 minutes and get it complete and done in 5 minutes, do it there and then, and not procrastinate and move on to other tasks. So I love how you say that, man. We're talking community-based work.
Yes.
And more just ask you about the struggles and the challenges that you come across.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's talk now about the successes now.
Yes.
Things that you would say are highlighters, things that you would encourage other people that you will work with in the future to try and include in their maybe the work that you would do with them, schools that you are still going to go and approach. What are some of the successes or some of the things that they can try and implement to try and help the kids? Because essentially, it's about what I'm getting from you is it's not about you and me as adults. It's about the kids. Yes. So what are some of those things?
Yeah, very passionate, as I've indicated earlier on. We are saying, remember, we just don't go to school and allocate the school shoes and then we just leave.
Yes.
We've got a group of professionals where we've got social workers. Then they have to come in because some kids, they are sitting there, they are so shy to talk, to say, this is what I'm going through. So we need people, we need those professionals that they will
who can
search their mind.
identify.
Exactly, can identify. Let's talk to this. So I'm urging also the community members to come. It can be businessmen we are looking for. Also, one thing that also I need to mention it, maybe before I leave it here.
Yes, sir.
I tell you guys, believe me or not, as we were sitting earlier on, a business partner said, we are working with them. I'm not asking. Instead of putting your words here, and you don't
love
like
it. Yes.
Going forward, we are working with you
Vooka
guys.
Breakfast Show. Yes, sir. I love it.
That's when we say we'll bring business a customer. Remember, we want to go out and we come back and bring. This is a community.
Definitely.
We bring the business right here. Let's stop this thing, which is into Zenzakale Sentin.
Yes.
No, Sentin is the Salandi experience. We went to
now
we are coming back.
Love it.
Let's apply it right now.
Let's apply it.
I love it.
Mr. Sandani, before we let you go, please tell us the plan that you have, for the community, the vision and the mission, and also tell us where can people get you when they want to contact you, lastly.
Or even more, if there's anything that you have planned in the not so near or even the near future, how can people, especially in the community of Dobsonville where you are from, how can we get involved? And is there something that maybe you are looking forward to that you will be doing in the very near future that community members can come through and say, look, Mr. Sandani, I want to lend a helping hand. I want to be involved. This is me.
Yeah, surely we've got a couple of things, programs that are lining up. Like, for instance, we normally do golf days.
golf days.
Golf days.
Okay.
We got one that is coming 11th of April at the Wanderers Golf Course.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. One can say he's talking community, but now it's because of we're looking at some of the stakeholders. We did one at Soweto Country Club. Sometime last year.
Yes, sir.
So now we said, let's also move because we are open. We work with everyone who wants to come and assist. So we said, okay, that community also, let's give them a chance, to be part and parcel. So we'll be at the Wanderers Golf Course on the 11th
of April. Yes, sir.
That's what we call it, a Women at Work Charity Golf Day. Women at Work, it comes that the organization that are formed, but I normally fire myself. I establish and then fire myself. Then we said, let's give women a chance because we are always up front there. So we said, we'll support Women at Work in collaboration with Community Newsroom. So there's a charity golf day. And we got, I think, two homes that we are working with. Now, back to your questions, what you just asked. We are also looking for like a homes around that we can go there. Let's see how can we help them. We are looking for that. Then I'm going to leave my numbers, of course, before we leave.
Please,
I'm going to leave my numbers so people, they can reach out.
Yes.
I've heard about the Vugani Football Club of the I won't call them ladies.
Yes, I've heard of that as well. Yes.
So they are going to go to Limpopo sometime. Then I spoke to one lady, said, how can we reach you? So Thursday we are sitting with them. We are saying, let's see how can we lend a hand as well.
Yes.
So that is why I'm also urging the business people around. This is our community. Let's develop Dobsonville. Let's make it happen. I mean, we come around. I grew up in this rugby.
Congo, what we refer to as Congo, next to the Dobsonville Stadium. Yes, sir.
We used to go and play there. We used to have a tumbler there, swimming pool. We used to go there.
Same.
So, so we are saying to the community of Dobsonville, please, guys, if there's anything that you would like us to come and lend a hand, as long as we communicate and we know that this where we are plowing back, everything is legit. Because sometimes people, when they hear these kind of things, they want to take advantage.
Definitely, like Emmanuel mentioned before he left. Yes.
So we are saying, yes, come and talk to us. Then we'll be able and see, because we've got a couple of stakeholders. We are working nationally.
Yes.
I'm talking now, last week, we've been joined by the ladies from Germany.
Wow.
While we were allocating the school shoes.
Wow.
So we got one lady that she's in Kenya currently. I just spoke to her, Carol. She's listening also.
Yes.
She's in Kenya now. She says, "Oh, this is dope.
Yeah.
Let's move. Let's work."
I love it. First, before you give your WhatsApp number, let's give socials where people can get a hold of you on social on the social media platforms.
Yeah, most in a community newsroom. We are in a Facebook. It's community newsroom. Just
community newsroom. Yes,
and
sir.
Check us in our X. What we used to be
Twitter.
Yes, sir. We are in Facebook, then Instagram. Just the community newsroom. Then they can follow us.
You heard it for yourself. Community Newsroom on Facebook, X, what is formerly known as Twitter, and of course Instagram. That's Community Newsroom, and is being run and led by Usanda, and of course, and other people that you work with. Like you said, you have other stakeholders, right?
Absolutely.
In the space, doing amazing work in the community of Dobsonville, based in Dobsonville, but not necessarily solely in working in Dobsonville. Of course, if you are not from Dobsonville and other communities, he would love for you to get involved and get in the work of helping and developing our communities in and around Soweto and essentially all over the country, man, in South Africa. It doesn't end here. And, he was sharing his life story, where he comes from, some of the things that he's being involved in, and now where he's finding himself now as a, qualified journalist, because you said you studied journalism, right? Doing amazing stuff. Like I say, we never have enough time more.
True.
We never have enough time, and I feel like there's so much to get into, Mr. Sandani, and with love, of course, like I said with Emmanuel, you're some of the people that we should have back. Get into the work that you are doing, and on the 11th of April, we're looking forward to the Women in Golf.
Yeah, the Women at Work.
Women in Golf, charity
golf day. It's just for charity.
Yes.
It's not for me, it's not for whoever, but this is for charity.
Yes.
You want to, we are approaching winter now. We sat down and said, let's do a charity golf day so that they can be able to get their winter school uniform.
Yes, definitely.
That's all about them.
Definitely. Such cool stuff. Let's share, if you don't mind, how can people get a hold of you on WhatsApp maybe, or phone calls and stuff like that?
Yeah, I can share my numbers.
Yes, absolutely.
They can always get in touch. That's a phone call, and also WhatsApp is 068 653 1544. 068 653 1544. I can also share another number as well.
Yes, sir.
It's a 079 809 And then that's 7380.
Yes.
That's 079-809. Then it's 7830. That's
Such amazing stuff.
Yeah, that's WhatsApp and also phone.
Such amazing stuff. You know, when you're mentioning this, and like I said earlier when you started talking, I'm very biased when it comes to my community of Dobsonville.
Sure.
And I love people who are doing amazing stuff like you. And I'm definitely from now on going to reach out and see how I can lend a helping hand as someone who's from Dobsonville, more and myself, more is even someone who went to school more forward.
Nice.
Even senior more.
So very, very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. Even in the space, we have people like from Tepisong. Tepisong is not too far from Dobsonville. We have the gents here.
I've got a lot of work that I've done that side. Some of the business people that I grew up
based in
with them
Tepisong.
are based in Tepisong
Yes.
today.
We have the gents who are working on technicals and socials who are from right here, Momidolansi. You know, so I think maybe, like you said, the community newsroom can do so much work alongside the Vooka Breakfast Show to try and develop our own communities and the people in the communities, because these are the people we grow up with, we live with, and seeing them deprived of certain things is not good. And I echo what he said more. We get so much information and knowledge from wherever. Now it's time to bring it back and plow it in our communities. I love it more.
And become a better people, of course. And if you missed the numbers, guys, let me repeat them for you. It's 068-653-1544. 068-653-1544. And the second one is 079-809-7830. It's 079-809-7830. Mr. Sandani, thank you so much for being with us.
Yes, sir.
We hope that you're going to share more work with us as
Yes,
time
definitely.
goes on, man.
No, I really appreciate to be here. You know, the warm welcome
Yes,
that
sir.
I've received. It's not everywhere that we just walked in there and we just received, you know, a bottle of water.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
We try.
You know?
We really try our best. Yes, sir.
So, but I really appreciate. You know how we do it. We say peace, love, and all stand tall. That don't you dare fall. Of course, keep it tight and keep it long. Yeah, on the
Look at him going into his radio personnel. I love it. I love it. You know, if we were to hang out here, never fit and never tamai.
for sure.
And we'd love to have Mr. Sandani come back once again. So, but if, of course, the conversation does not end here, if you have questions, answers, queries, opinions, and everything else in between, reach us throughout all our social media platforms. We go by the hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show, and I'm sure we can ask and give all that information to Mr. Sandani, and he will reach out to us and be able to answer all the things that you might have asked and said. But with that being said, let you and I and Mo see each other after the break. Cool stuff?
Definitely, because the time is not on our side, guys. We won't have any break. So what we're going to do is just to conclude the show for you. It's 21 minutes past 10, and we had guests lined up for you. Let me take you through who we had. On the business blog, we had Emmanuel Kani, and on the motivation, we had Osvaldo Naka,
Yes,
and
sir.
lastly, we had Sandani Rachi Lumela. So what you can do is just to, go back to give yourself a recap of the conversation that we had. Or what you're going to do is to chop the conversation so that you can strictly and solely focus on those conversations. It was nice. It was Monday motivation. As I said, the strong help the weak
Definitely.
and mend the broken. Those are the words from Mpoko Lopane. From me, Muketi Maimane. Let's see each other tomorrow from 7 a.m. up until 10 a.m. right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show. Stay shining. It's Monday motivation. Keep on shining. We'll see you tomorrow. Missed.
With that being said, tomorrow on a Tuesday, we give you all things personal finance. And of course, all things that have to do with history and the word of the day, sharing all great words that you would hopefully include and start applying in your day-to-day spoken language. So with that being said, from myself, my name is MOOCEE Mr. Musi Mr. Celebrity Yala Etop Vooka Breakfast Show. I'm actually an international musician all the way from Top Santon. This is right next to Zondi Hills and just before you get to Provincial Kloof. With that being said, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see each other tomorrow morning. Cool stuff. Hey family.
Hi.
My name is Tisiga Mazibugo Shabalala.
My name is Muketi Maimane.
My name is Musi Mr.
My name is Ketsu Mgunu.
On the Vooka
Vooka Breakfast Show.
Every weekdays from 7 a.m.
to 10 a.m.
This is where we are going to have our topical discussion featuring various experts from different fields.
We're going to take care of you and it's going to be amazing, man. Right now I'm on the set of the Vooka Breakfast Show brought to you by the Blink-On Network.
Do not forget to subscribe.
That's Vooka Breakfast Show on Facebook and all other social media platforms.
Vooka.
See you there.
Vooka Breakfast Show.
We're out here in the heart of Soweto, Top Sandton. This is right next to Zondi Hills, and just before you get to Broad Fisher Club. I'm out here. My name is Musi Mest. I'm out here with the one and only maximum temperature. I'm working with my TC 7 on Vooka, and of course our station manager, the one and only Banelin Lyric. And we're traveling out here, man. This is what we do on the Vooka Breakfast Show.
Yeah, you gotta get it fresh.
Bugile, we are fresh and nice. Now it's time to take the information to the people.
Of course, like Mo just mentioned, do stay tuned, comment, like, subscribe, share your thoughts and your opinions and everything else in between. We're going to be coming to a street to do live near you, wanting to know what your thoughts are out there on the street.
First, we've got TCO Wamazibugo with the traffic update. Right now, we are going to N1 southbound to make sure that whatever that you guys get, it is real-time information. So, looking at Mukhorosi, we have robots that are not working right here, but the traffic is moving. We're going to look at when is your rush hour time, when people are from the work, or from school,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes,
Gonna
sir.
give you your daily update. So do make sure that you stay with us. Mobile Vooka Breakfast Show.
Yes, sir.
Asante ya 3.